Is that wind?
Welcome into another beautiful day at the ballpark. This is Teurlings Catholic Sports Network on YouTube. I'm Kevon Bordelon. This is the Uncle T's Oyster Bar pregame show as the Rebels get set to take on the Saints from St. Louis out of Calcasieu Parish. Alongside me is Tommy Dean in for Scott Brazda, who will be here in just a minute. Mr. Brazda is doing yeoman's work. He is making sure that we have sandwiches from Old Time Grocery, one of our sponsors here. Always fantastic to have him with us. Tommy, the Rebels yesterday come off of a big win, a district victory against Rain. The Rebels got 3 runs, got a complete game shutout yesterday afternoon by Cade Shambo, a fantastic game that he threw. Talk about the win yesterday and what it does for this team as they continue to press on against a non-district foe this afternoon, but a really, really good opponent here at Teurlings Catholic High.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, first of all, I could get used to talking about this with you all day long. But yesterday, I mean, I think the Rebels actually found a little bit of rhythm that we felt has been missing for a while. But, man, let's highlight Cade Shambo. I mean, the guy just got up there, I think he threw 82 pitches, finished the game with 82. Every game he's thrown so far, he has one loss against Brother Martin, and that was a 1-0 ball game. He went the whole distance, I believe. Well, I think Guillory came in to relieve him, but he went 6 of the 7 innings. Every other game he's won. He is low pitch count. He has been an absolute surgeon on the mound. Meticulous, very methodical, and just gets in, gets the job done, and gets off the mound.
The Rebels will obviously not have Shambo here today. The Rebels' kind of normal ace, and I hate to say ace, that's an old pitching term, but your usual what in college fans would think of as a Friday starter would be Evan Vincent. Vincent not throwing today either. The Rebels instead are going to have Isaac Boudreau on the Staff Sergeant Richard Poole pitcher's mound here this afternoon. Yeah. Tell us a little bit about him.
Yeah, so Isaac Boudreau, everybody should know this name from the last probably year. He threw a good little bit off the mound last year. He started game 2 in the finals. Didn't have a lot of innings under his belt, but this year he finished that year and had a finger injury that took a while to heal, and he's been kind of on the DL, to use another baseball term, for a while, and just starting to get back. But man, I saw him in the bullpen not too long ago, and I think he's found his rhythm again. Big presence on the mound. Isaac's about 6'4", 6'5", probably pushing 200 pounds. And it's just that he's a menace up there.
What's going to be maybe deceiving for the opponents here at Teurlings Catholic High this afternoon is when you look at the stats for Isaac coming into this game. He's only thrown 3.2 innings all season. He has 2 games official that he has pitched in. He has a save and he has a win so far. He is sporting an ERA of 1.364, which in high school is one of those where you're like, man, if we can only give up 1.3 innings, we're good to go.
Yeah, you can win some.
Or I'm sorry, 1.3 runs. We're good to go.
Yeah.
The Rebels offensively only got 1 really good inning yesterday. That was the 3rd inning. 3 runs was all they needed, but it was Rebel baseball to a T.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, again, I think they're starting to find their rhythm. They're starting to trust each other. Still taking some, I find they're still taking some pitches that are hittable. We talk about the umpire situation and the outside strike situation, which is, we can have a whole episode about that. But, aside from that, I think if they just can lock in and start taking better pitches, I think those bats are really going to come to life. Because, you got talent from top to bottom, and you still got 15 guys off the bench that could make an impact.
Well, and this is a team that has won back-to-back state championships. The first under Rebel skipper Brooks Botto was the game actually that they won against a St. Louis squad in Sulphur, and no doubt about it, this is always a quality program at St. Louis. That was a fantastic ball game. I expect nothing less here today, but you are talking about a lot of experience that has seen a lot of wins. The juniors on this team, the only history they know is freshman state championship. Sophomore state championship. So the expectations on this team, as we've talked about in our 5-game series that we are going to bring to you live here on YouTube, thanks to Beal and Hebert, your Acadiana hometown attorneys, the only experience we know for this team is that they have high expectations and they are going to get the best shot from everybody who rolls in here to Teurlings Catholic High.
Absolutely. Look, there's a lot of pressure on these guys, and we didn't talk about it yesterday, but, after the fact when I left, I said, what we didn't mention is the depth of schedule that they've had the first, really, we're in game 20-something. and they've played every game. There's been no easy games.
This will be game 23 on the schedule. The Rebels are 14-8 on the season, which for a lot of people, when they look at the Rebels and a schedule of 8 losses, you have to remember last year the Rebels only lost 5 ball games all season, much less 8 when they were already 22 in.
Sure, which, I mean, you know, when you break it down, it's not that bad because, again, they've played, I mean, they played Brother Martin, lost a one-run ball game, 1-0. Other than that Acadiana game, which kind of got out of hand, and I think really that was what you saw was a bunch of juniors with little experience out there just shell-shocked, and it showed on the scoreboard. But other than that, they haven't been blown out. It's been close ball games, and they've hung in right there. So, man, I think they're right on the edge, Kevon, of just getting hot and peaking.
Even the St. Thomas More game, which the Rebels lost, 9-4 here at Teurlings Catholic High, that was a 5-4 ball game with 2 outs in the top of the 7th, expecting to see the Rebels at bat. They were literally a call away because we had what a lot of people thought was strike 3 on out 3, and instead St. Thomas More was able to bust some things open, pick up some extra runs. They picked up 4 in the 7th, and the Rebels just weren't able to recover. But other than that, every game has been close. Every game seems to be a winnable game for the Rebels. And the big question is, Tommy, can this team find its stride as we get ready to head to when it's really important? Because a hot baseball team at the right time is what really matters.
Absolutely. And I got to jump here and get on the PA minute, but I do think I feel that coming. I feel that momentum on the upswing. You know, I mean, we're not going to be a first round, a first seed playoff team this year. And you know what? We haven't dealt with that sort of adversity. These guys haven't had a chance to deal with that kind of adversity. And I think that's what they need. They're going to have to dig themselves out of a little bit of a hole. And I really think that's what the end of this year going into next season, not to get ahead of ourselves, but that adversity is what's going to make this ball club dangerous.
Battling through adversity is absolutely what the Rebels will have to do. Tommy, thanks for joining us. We're going to go ahead and get to our McDonald's starting lineups here on the Uncle T's Oyster Bar pregame show on Teurlings Catholic Sports Network. Oh, look at the hospitality. Scott Yerby bringing me a stool so I don't have to stand for the next 2.5 hours. I can at least lean a little bit as we get
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Rebel Field, which is proudly sponsored by Clark Hayes and Fall, LLC, Investment Advisors and CPAs. This is the home of your Rebels of Teurlings Catholic. We would like to thank Clark Hayes and Fall for supporting Rebel baseball in our school community. Following the meeting that's currently taking place at home plate between the coaches and umpires, we will announce tonight's starting lineups beginning with our visitors, followed by the Catholic invocation and the playing of our national anthem. Today's national anthem is brought to you by our exclusive national anthem sponsor, Energy Transfer. We would like to thank Energy Transfer for their continued support of Rebel baseball and our student athletes. Today's contest is a non-district matchup between the Saints of St. Louis Catholic, hailing from Calcasieu Parish of Lake Charles, and your Rebels of Teurlings Catholic. First pitch slated for 4 p.m. It's 77 degrees, and we have winds out of the southwest, gusting at around 12 miles an hour. But as always, it's a beautiful day for Rebel baseball.
Well above 500. Will Power will hit second at shortstop, with Hudson Clavel DHing in the 3-hole. First baseman Mason Gonzalez will be the cleanup hitter for the Teurlings Rebels, as Evan Vincent will start in right field and in fifth. Brennan Storms, the Rebels' third baseman, will hit sixth, with Kate Shambo starting at second base this afternoon, hitting in the 7th spot. John Aaron Swallow will get his second consecutive start at catcher for the Teurlings Rebels. He will hit 8th, and Carter Deculus gets the start in left field. A couple of really nice defensive plays yesterday, and got the run started yesterday for the Rebels. With a hit up the middle, will hit 9th. Isaac Boudreau is on the hill this afternoon. As we said, we can give you the stats for Isaac. He has 3.2 innings pitched. He's appeared in 2 games. He has a save, and he has 1 win on the season. He's only got 3 walks in his.
Before we get started, ladies and gentlemen, let me please remind you that we have shrimp pasta from Uncle T's Oyster Bar on our little special menu today. Make sure you make a visit to the concession stand before we run out. Grab dinner for you and the family so you don't have to cook when you get home.
Are at the home plate and having a discussion as we get set to bring you our national anthem and our invocation. So this is the Uncle T's Oyster Bar pregame show here on Teurlings Catholic Sports Network as we get ready to bring you another Teurlings version of the Businessman Special. A 4 o'clock first pitch here this afternoon with the visiting St. Louis Saints out of
Local time is 3:56. And now the starting lineups for the visiting Saints of St. Louis Catholic. Batting first and playing first base, number 7, Trace Morrow. Batting second and playing center field, number 27, Michael Weiss.
At Oxnard Lafayette General, we're here to get you moving and keep you moving.
Number 5, Jack Garcia.
Our team of experts delivers specialized, coordinated care through a nationally renowned orthopedic and sports medicine program, providing the most advanced equipment and modern facilities, and covering you from the field to fast forward your healing. Oxnard Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Long live you.
Uncle T's Oyster Bar in Scott is your destination for Acadiana's best local seafood.
Enjoy our delicious specialties including raw and charbroiled oysters, bald crawfish, small bites, salads, po' boys, and a variety of seafood baskets.
We feature happy hour specials every day from 2 to 6 with half off domestic draft and bottled beer.
And you can't leave without a serving of Mom and Nat's delicious bread pudding.
Uncle T's across the railroad tracks in Scott.
Serving Gulf oysters just the way you like them.
Welcome back to the Uncle T's Oyster Bar pregame show as we get ready for the Rebels to make their way out to the field defensively at the top of the first inning.
Now starting lineup for your Rebels of Teurlings Catholic. Batting first and playing center field, number 10, Caden Chavis.
Most important stuff is Scott President, broadcast.
Batting second, the shortstop, number 7, Will Howard.
Here at Teurlings Catholic High School, a Lenten special, Mr. Brazda, if you will.
Yeah, don't sugarcoat it. The most important stuff is the stuff in the bag. But Ross Murphy and the good folks over at Old Time taking care of us.
Always appreciative when they send fried shrimp po' boys on a Lenten Friday, man. So it's one of those things, Scott, for those who are Catholic, and sometimes we get the question, well, you can't eat meat on Fridays. It's a sacrifice. And then you say, yeah, I have to sacrifice because we end up eating fried shrimp and fried fish and crawfish pasta and all the things. Catholic priests will tell you, you should probably keep it to a minimum as much as possible because we are attempting to restrict self. But, man, it's really difficult when they lay out a spread like Old Time Grocery or Uncle T's Oyster Bar, and you can go there tonight and just have an absolutely fantastic meal when you are technically sacrificing.
Yeah, technically. And any of those places, I mean, you go to, say, Old Time, Friday lunchtime, Friday in Lent, it's like a day in the New York Stock Exchange because everybody wants fried shrimp po' boys, or they do crawfish, they do crabs, and everyone's just trying to get somebody's attention, right?
All right, so now we are going to go ahead and listen in. We'll remove our caps if you are at home, and we'll do it here at the ballpark. And listen in to our invocation and our national anthem brought to you by Louisiana Veteran Connection.
In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit, amen. Heavenly Father, as the opening pitch draws near, we turn to you, the ultimate umpire of fairness and the guardian of safety. We earnestly implore you to watch over all players on this field. Guide us in playing this game with utmost fairness and integrity, for in the end, it is not just victory that matters, but how we compete. May our actions on the diamond be a reflection of your love, grace, and justice. We entrust our every action to you, O Lord, as we engage in this honorable contest. Later victory, pray for us. Father Teurlings, rest in peace. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit, amen.
Some family we had at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming.
Gentlemen, let's play baseball.
So we are going to take a break here from the Uncle T's Oyster Bar pregame show. Come back, bring you first pitch. Your Teurlings Rebels hosting the St. Louis Saints here at Rebel Park on the campus of Teurlings Catholic High. This is the Teurlings Catholic Sports Network.
Tired of overpaying for mattresses? Stop. Box Drop Lafayette can save you 50 to 80% off big box prices. Brands include Sealy, Serta Simmons, and more. Twins start at $89, fulls at $120, queens from $128, kings from $198. Plus, adjustable bases, sofas, sectionals, and more. All factory direct. Huge savings, better sleep. 3221 Highway 90 East in Broussard, 5 miles south of the airport, or boxdroplafayette.com. Call 337-780-7076. Don't pay retail. We even have easy payment plans. Sleep better, save bigger. Box Drop Lafayette. Proudly from Pocheville, Louisiana, Diamond G Farms may no longer be running full operations, but our heart for this community beats stronger than ever. Honored to memorialize the pitching mound at Teurlings Catholic High School baseball, now officially named in memory of brave Staff Sergeant Richard Poole. To the Rebels, players, coaches, and fans, keep throwing strikes, swinging for the fences, and honoring those who served. Diamond G Farms, supporting faith, family, and future champions. Go Rebels!
Po' Boys are being distributed on a Lenten Friday special here at Teurlings Catholic High alongside Scott Brasda. I'm Kevon Bordelon. Rebels putting their 14-8 record on the line to bring in the Saints from St. Louis High School just outside of Lake Charles, Louisiana. Scott, the Rebels got a great win yesterday, a district win, which is oh so important for this team as they try to build that confidence and maintain that level of expectations that you get when you win back-to-back state championships in the last 2 years.
And come on, what an impressive district win, too. I mean, Kate Shambo came in and four-hitter, nothing but singles, and was just a champ. I mean, just mastered the strike zone. Hopefully he can continue to do it, but boy, against an even better team, I think.
Isaac Boudreau is on the Staff Sergeant Richard Poole pitcher's mound for the Rebels here to get things started. Trace Morrow, Michael Weiss, and Jack Garcia will be 1, 2, 3 here in the top of the first. Morrow sets in from the right side, waiting on the delivery from Broussard. Check that Boudreau. That is hit towards the left. And unusual, Scott, that you see a situation where Rebel third baseman Brennan Storms can't handle the hot corner. And the Saints have the leadoff man on one pitch here in the top of the first inning.
Yeah, and that one was kind of right at him, too. Usually he at least throws his body in front of it, but it just shows you the speed, the intensity of that ball.
That'll bring Michael Weiss to the plate. Weiss again hitting from the right side. So righty-on-righty matchup shows bunt. It's going to be outside, bring the count to 1-0. Boudreau wasting no time, now showing bunt again. Beauty laid down right in front of the plate. There's going to be no throw as Boudreau just has to hold on to it, and St. Louis starts off with runners on first and second, nobody out here in the top of the first.
I mean, that was sort of a classic Caden Chavis bunt, or just no man's land, and Boudreau really didn't have a play, especially with the speed of Weiss.
You can almost credit Boudreau with the no throw. You talked about this yesterday, recognizing and having enough baseball intelligence to know when to throw it and when not to. He didn't want to risk it, and instead he'll face off against Jack Garcia, the three-hole hitter who'll be on the mound for St. Louis. That pitch will be outside for ball one.
Well, you know, Kevon, I think it's akin to in football when they throw it away, when the quarterback is smart enough to just throw it out of bounds. That's kind of what you have to do sometimes. It's not what you want to do. You always want to try to make that play, right?
Boudreau from the stretch checks the runner at second. That delivery is going to be outside, or check that, in for strike one. So that brings the count to 1-1 against Garcia, a three-hole hitter for St. Louis. Boudreau rocks and fires, can't find the zone on that one, make the count 2-1.
You know, St. Louis is a team that's been playing really good baseball, been in the zone the last few weeks, and is a team that's pretty familiar with sulfur.
Boudreau decides to come home. That's going to be low, make the count 3-1. Garcia should see a hitter's count here at 3 balls and 1 strike. Or a hitter's pitch, rather, at 3 balls, 1 strike.
That was good hold-up by Garcia because that wasn't a bad pitch.
The 3-1 is going to be low, ball 4. And the bases are juiced for St. Louis here in the first with nobody out. They've collected 1 hit here in the inning. They have 1 error by the Rebels, and that puts 3-man on with the free base.
Not an ideal situation with your cleanup hitter up and the bases are juiced.
Third baseman Maddox Swallow is hitting in the 4-hole for St. Louis, and the Rebels have themselves in a jam right in the top of the first.
Was that the supreme understatement? Not an ideal situation. Bases are loaded and your cleanup hitter's up.
That's like saying, my house is on fire, I have no water, and I have no phone to call the fire department. Not ideal, but it'll be all right.
Here to speak the obvious, Scott Prest.
That pitch is going to be inside for ball 1. Boudreau has his signal. Now comes set on the mound. That's going to be hit towards the gap around second base. That'll score 1. No throw from Vincent in right field as he will wait and have it cut off. But the single scores 1, and the Rebels trail 1-0. Still nobody out. That's 2 hits in the inning already for St. Louis.
Glass half full kind of thing. It was only 1 run. And going back to our earlier point, it was smart that Vincent didn't throw it. There was nothing he could do. The runner was pretty much slowing up at third. The other runner was crossing the plate.
That'll bring Carter Orndorff, the left fielder, to the plate for St. Louis. Rebels still looking for their first out here in the inning with 1 run already home. That pitch catches the inside for strike 1. And that may be the first time, Scott, that Boudreau has found himself ahead of a hitter. And if he can get himself to a place where he's comfortable on the mound, maybe we start to see a little bit better location from him early in the ballgame.
Yeah, he's done that. You know, he's 1-1. He's got a 2.62 ERA.
That's going to be hit towards short. Can the Rebels turn 2? 6, 4, 3, and the Rebels get out of the inning with 1 run, or check that, have 2 outs in the inning. The run scores make it 2 runs. Here I am miscounting outs. I was getting a little optimistic in the inning.
I'm with you. I'm channeling your hope. I'm doubling up on it.
But, Scott, talk about how big of a double play that is, because the damage can be minimized now if you can just get the man out at home with Connor Boudreau at the plate.
And don't you think there's something psychological about being down 2-0 versus 3-0? To me, 2 just seems very doable. 3, suddenly, man, I mean, we saw it yesterday with rain.
Here comes the 0-1 pitch from Isaac Boudreau to Boudreau, his counterpart. That's going to be high, even the count at 1-1. Yeah, I mean, Scott, if you were to tell me if the Rebels can get out here, that there would be bases loaded with nobody out and the Rebels would only give up 2, that's a huge benefit, but that's not going to be the case as that ball's going to find grass in right center. It'll score 1. It's extra bases for St. Louis as that throw comes into second, but it's not in time as the double makes it 3-0 for St. Louis here in the top of the first.
Well, that's not what I wanted. Getting some good cuts on Mr. Boudreau.
So, Scott, that's 3 hits here in the inning. 3 runs. The free pass on the walk coming back to haunt the Rebels as that run came home to score. Again, there we have the bunt opportunity. Boudreau fields it cleanly, throws to Gonzalez at first, and that gets the Rebels out of the inning. But not before St. Louis finds 3 runs on 3 hits, 1 error on the Rebels. We'll come back bottom of the first here on the Teurlings Catholic Sports Network right after this.
Walking in, Seeing all the people at the Aspen Clinic makes it so much easier to just get started.
Coming here and having a real person makes the difference.
The accountability is a big thing because it gets you to your goals quicker.
The Aspen Clinic offers more than just GLP-1s.
Because you deserve more than just a prescription. They would never give me anything that would harm me, and they only want the best for me.
No contracts, no membership fees, just real in-person support.
Don't wait, call the Aspen Clinic today.
In the heart of Lafayette, something strong is growing. We believe in creating opportunity right here, so our young professionals don't have to leave Louisiana to build their future. At Beal & Aber, we're proud to stand up for the people of Acadiana. When you need strong legal representation, whether you're injured in a car wreck, have a construction dispute, you are dealing with a civil matter, or you just need help with estate planning, we're here when it matters most. Beal & Aber, Acadiana's hometown.
Rebels trail 3-0 after 1/2 inning of baseball. Alongside Scott Brazda, I'm Kevon Bordelon. Scott, as you would say, to state the obvious, certainly not an ideal situation to find yourself in, down 3-0 after the top of the first. But the Rebels offensively may be looking to get some continuity going after yesterday's win over Rain, sending Caden Chavis, Will Power, and Hudson Clavell to the plate as 1-2-3.
And kind of a twist on yesterday, didn't we have Deculus leading things off? It's kind of what we've seen in the past, though, where Chavis has resumed his, or at least gone back to his leadoff spot, at least for today.
Deculus had that really nice hit yesterday at the bottom of the order, which I think if you can get that production here today, where you get production from a Caden Chavis, top of the order, bottom of the order, now all of a sudden you can get the timely hits that we talked about the Rebels needing yesterday.
Chavis with his average back in the 540s.
Garcia throwing from the right side to face the left-handed Chavis. That pitch is breaking ball in for a strike, make it 0-1.
And look, St. Louis knows what they're facing, too. I mean, this is a team they're familiar with in the tournament. This is a good test for them as well.
Chavis shows bunt, pulls it back for a ball, and even the count at 1-1. It's amazing how deceiving sometimes things can be with a camera angle, Scott, because it looked like the first breaking ball didn't find the zone. Looked like the second one did. Regardless, you've got a good 1-1 count. Another breaking ball. That one found the zone easily to make it 1 ball and 2 strikes to the Rebels' leadoff hitter here in the bottom of the first.
Yeah, that was nice. That danced along the batter's box, inside markings.
Here comes the 1-2 pitch. That's going to be swung at towards the left side. Backhanded it short. The exchange maybe not in time, and the Rebels are going to end up getting a hit out of that for Caden Chavis as the shortstop, Hussier, for St. Louis, just not able to get the ball out of his mid in time, Scott.
And also certain spots. I mean, especially with someone with Caden's speed, the minute you see an infielder having to go across his body and try to backhand something, you know there's at least going to be a second delay, even if it was a cleaner exchange, and you know that there's no way he's getting Chavis.
That'll send Will Power to the plate for the Rebels. That's going to be inside, and Scott, you can tell that the Listy, the catcher for St. Louis, is highly concerned about Caden Chavis at first, especially with a left-handed batter in the way, as it obstructs the view of a catcher at times.
And St. Louis is smart. They know Caden Chavis.
That breaking ball's in for a strike, evens the count.
Garcia's got a nice array. He's finding the strike zone, or at least getting really close, even when he's off.
Chavis is back in time as the pickoff attempt is not there fast enough to get him out. And he'll stand back up and get ready to take that lead again from first. Power settles back in. Squares to bunt and then drops it down. Bounces off the turf and then foul. That'll bring the count to 1 ball, 2 strikes as the Rebels, Scott, trying to manufacture a little something of their own. Once St. Louis got their first batter on, the next step was bunt him over. The Rebels not able to make the play, and it certainly hurt Teurlings there in the top of the first.
And now, you know, if Boudreaux can get back into his zone on the mound and the Rebels can chip away, again, just to kind of move Caden around and see what you can do about scratching one. Well, I mean, I'm greedy. I'll take more. But
1 ball, 2 strikes to Will Power. That's going to be high and outside, bring the count to 2-2. And I, Scott, agree with you 100%. The Rebels don't need to necessarily get 3 here in this inning, but they do need to answer in this inning in some way, shape, or form. Here comes the 2-2 pitch. That's going to be fouled off. Nice job by Power to stay alive. At the very least, try and drive the pitch count up here in the first.
Yeah. I'm watching Caden. It's like a 6-step lead.
Garcia comes set. Chavis takes off. That's going to be fouled back into the net as the Rebels want to absolutely avoid the opportunity for a double play ball. Chavis has enough speed to do that, but you do need to get him moving ahead of time.
It's a great sports day. You've got, obviously, baseball, the big dance, Santa Clara, push Kentucky to the limit. We've got a couple good ones out there.
That ball is low, and Chavis is going to take off. The throw to second is not going to be in time as Chavis gets there with plenty of room, and the count now goes full on Power at home plate. Now, Scott, you have to wonder, if you've sat behind home plate, you know that Garcia on the hill may be a little over-concerned with Chavis and where that's headed, as opposed to, as your catcher, tell him, look, just calm down, get the guy at home plate, don't worry about the guy on the base paths.
And now you still have a tough view of Chavis because he's right behind you.
That's hit right up the middle, and Chavis is headed to third. Coach is waving him around now. He'll pull the stop sign out as we get the run headed to second, and Power will take second off the throw, and the Rebels have runners at second and third, nobody out here in the bottom of the first, looking to try and get that answer we were looking for from the top half of the inning.
You know, anybody that follows baseball can do it, but when you've got a guy like Brooks Batto, high AAA ball, you know, when he retired, he was still hitting in the threes. He's smart enough to know the percentage of what that center fielder can do and that it wasn't going to be a good thing for Caden.
That'll send the DH, Hudson Clavel, to the plate for the Rebels. That ball's going to be high and outside for ball 1.
I mean, you and I were both waving him in.
Oh, well, I looked at Brooks, and Brooks had that arm just fanning all the way, and then all of a sudden threw up the stop sign. Glad Chavis was able to do it. That breaking ball is going to come in, looks like low, break it to 2-0. The wind today blowing straight out of the south, and man, it is getting it. That pitch is outside, make it 3-0. So, Scott, the Rebels able to get a little something going offensively here in the bottom half of the inning. This is exactly where you'd love to be. As Clavel now comes set with a 3-0 count, he's probably taken all the way. It's a good thing he is because that is ball 4, a 4-pitch walk from Garcia, who seemed to have pretty good control to start things out, and then all of a sudden you see a 4-pitch walk, and now all of a sudden the Rebels, just like St. Louis did in the top half of the first, have the bases juiced with nobody out for their cleanup hitter, Mason Gonzalez.
Yeah, Garcia had nice control even with Chavis and Power getting on board. But right there now.
Righty on righty matchup, and that's going to be low. The ball's going to get away, but Chavis is not moving off of third base. So that is 5 straight balls that we have now seen from Garcia. Uncharacteristic of what you would expect.
So Gonzalez hitting the low 280s. Got 8 RBI.
That fastball's in for a strike, evens the count at 1-1.
Yeah, he was mad at himself a couple times yesterday.
And, Scott, you know that Gonzalez had to take until you get a strike going all the way. The 1-1 pitch, just the bottom falls out of it. A beautiful pitch by Garcia, and Gonzalez could not find it.
That was coming in just below the shoulders and then just dipped savagely. A savage dip.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Gonzalez, the Rebel cleanup hitter, trying to put something in play here in the bottom of the first. That's going to be fouled off and out of play to keep himself alive at the plate. He went up kind of high to get a hold of that one, but was good to make sure that he at least made some contact.
Outfielders playing the Rebels straight on, so there's that left center gap, that right center gap.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Swung at and missed. Gonzalez couldn't find it, and the first out is in for St. Louis here in the bottom of the first, and the Rebels have not managed to get that man at third 90 feet away in to scratch the scoreboard just yet.
And that's a big one because now you have a double play opportunity.
That'll bring Rebel right fielder Evan Vincent to the plate. Good to have somebody over 300 here at the plate in this situation. That pitch is outside black of the plate, in for strike 1. That's a nice offering from the right-hander.
15 RBI, the team's leader in that category.
Garcia winds, fires. That's going to be high and outside. Evens the count at 1-1.
You know, these guys all know the deal. They know about Vincent, you know, being player of the year, and they know how great he was in the state tournament last year. And Garcia would love to measure himself against him and get him out.
A breaking ball is fouled off towards the Rebel dugout, and I think it actually probably hit the mesh in front of it, and somebody I saw kind of shaking a leg a little bit, like it came through the mesh, maybe caught him, but not as firm as it would have without the protective barrier there.
I got to get the bat on the ball here. We do not, repeat, do not want a K.
1 ball, 2 strikes, 1 away. That's going to be fouled off. Well out of play by Vincent as he stays alive. Scott, I'm actually kind of surprised that even though Gonzalez is your cleanup hitter, you didn't see him square to bunt at all in that situation, just to try and at least get 1 run home and force a little bit of pressure, manufacture at least 1 run. Vincent settles into the box drop batter's box from the left side. That's high and outside. Here comes Chavis home. The ball bounced, and he is in time and safe, and the Rebels have scratched 1 across here in the bottom of the first.
Good call, good send by Brooks Batto. And, of course, Caden doing what Caden does. Nice job, pal.
That was a close play, and the only reason it was close is that pitch came so hard off of the backstop that it was actually able to bounce back to the catcher so he could make a play. If it had dribbled a little more towards the backstop, it wouldn't have been close.
Yeah, St. Louis, I mean, it was a great toss to Garcia, and Garcia came down with that tag, but able to slide just under it.
Runners for the Rebels have advanced to second and third as well, and a full count now to Evan Vincent at the plate with 1 out here in the bottom of the first. That's going to be fouled off. Vincent manages to stay alive. And, Scott, the other beautiful thing about that, I'm going to go with a wild pitch would be my thought, is that it doesn't completely remove the double play opportunity, but it's significantly more difficult for St. Louis to get out of the inning with a ground ball here.
Yeah, now you need like a line out, and you double him up. And
3-2 pitch, and that's going to be fouled off again as Vincent manages to stay alive.
You know, Garcia's thinking, man, I'm making some good pitches.
I was about to say, this has to be somewhere around an 8-pitch at bat right now, or in that neighborhood. Scoreboard operator tells us it's 2-2, not 3-2. That makes it 3-2, and here comes another run coming home. Sliding in safely is Will Power, and the Rebels have put 2 across with 2 hits, and now 2 wild pitches into the dirt to score both runs.
And again, heady play, aggressive play by the Rebels, looking for any opportunity. And now we have another one on third. Come on, Evan.
That pitch is outside for ball 4, and the Rebels now have him at the corners, 1 out. And it's a 3-2 ball game here in the bottom of the first. Scott, the Rebels have found a way to answer, and this is one of those momentum-killing bottom halves of an inning when you come out and drop 3 on the team who's homestanding, and all of a sudden you're able to put 2 across, have runners at the corners, and there's only 1 out.
And
are we going to see a Lemoyne pitching change in the first for St. Louis, or are we just going to see a little mound conversation from the skipper? Brooks Batto wants to have a conversation with his base runners here, see what they're going to do and what the plan will be.
You know, and I wonder if you don't take a pitch or two, advance Vincent over to second so you take away that double play. Because if they do throw over there, then you've got Cavell knocking on the door at third base already.
Scott, nice to see a three-man umpiring crew here this afternoon. We only had two yesterday, and obviously in any high school sport, you've got a shortage of officiating. This is nice to see where you've got somebody at first, somebody playing middle infield, and then, of course, your home plate umpire.
You know, for any game, but especially a game against two of your heavier hitters.
One away, Rebels show bunt, take that one low, make it 1 ball, no strikes to Brennan Storms, who's at the plate for the Rebels.
Now, St. Louis does not have any activity in the bullpen yet.
Storm settling back in from the right side. Shows bunt again. That's going to be outside, ball 2.
So the Rebels with yet another chance to answer in a big way.
Listy providing the signals for this 2-0 pitch. That's going to be a pitch out. The throw back is towards third, and he got him. It was a tag high on the shoulder, hard to see from this angle, and Scott, that is what you could not happen, and a beautiful call by Listy behind the plate to throw back to third, that snap throw on the pitch out. You just can't have that happen and kill a rally.
Right, and it's a heads-up play by the catcher, no doubt heads-up play by the coaches, saying to keep an eye on this.
And that is ball 4, which will send runners to first and second now for the Rebels as Brennan Storms collects a walk and sends Cade Shambo to the plate. But unfortunately, now the Rebels have 2 outs in the bottom of the first. They've scored 2.
You know, those things that'll drive a coach crazy, playing yourself out of an inning or out of a bigger inning.
That breaking ball's in for a strike. That's the pitch, Scott, that I think Garcila's been trying to land most of the afternoon. I think it's given him a little bit of trouble. That breaking ball is going to be difficult to hit if you're a Rebel batter. That gets past the catcher, Listy again. The Rebels advance. So runner again is 90 feet away from tying this ball game for the Teurlings Rebels.
Still 2 outs, but you take away a force. And, you know, the only play on the ground is at first base.
Scott, though, that's 3 that have gotten past Listy. 2 have resulted in runs here in the inning. That's going to be hit up the middle and should be good enough to score 1, if not 2. There's the first run. Here comes the second. Plenty of space. They're going to throw to second and try and get the runner there. They do, but it goes down as a single 2 RBI for the Rebels as they take a 4-3 lead after 1 over St. Louis. We'll be back on the Teurlings Catholic Sports Network with the second inning of this afternoon's ball game.
At Oxnard Lafayette General, we're here to get you moving and keep you moving. Our team of experts delivers specialized, coordinated care through a nationally renowned orthopedic and sports medicine program, providing the most advanced equipment and modern facilities, and covering you from the field to fast forward your healing. Oxnard Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Long live you.
Uncle T's Oyster Bar in Scott is your destination for Acadiana's best local seafood.
Enjoy our delicious specialties, including raw and charbroiled oysters, bald crawfish, small bites, salads, po' boys, and a variety of seafood baskets.
We feature happy hour specials every day from 2 to 6 with half off domestic draft and bottled beer.
And you can't leave without a serving of Mom and Nat's delicious bread pudding.
Uncle T's across the railroad tracks in Scott.
Serving Gulf oysters just the way you like them.
Aaron Dobby killing me. I got a mouthful of old-time grocery po' boy here as we come back from break alongside Scott Brasda. I'm Kevon Bordelon, and he thinks it's funny.
You know, And, Aaron can't answer on the air right now. Does Aaron have a mic? Because, in radio, you have that 7-second delay or whatever in case you're cursing. Well, don't we have like a food delay, a chewing delay or something like that?
We absolutely should have a digestive delay here on Teurlings Catholic Baseball. Rebels lead it 4-3 over St. Louis after one. I'm Kevon Bordelon alongside my broadcast partner Scott Brazda as the St. Louis Saints will send 7, 8, 9 Listy, Hussier, LeBuff to the plate here in the top of the second. Isaac Boudreau winds, fires. That's hit down the left field line. That's extra bases all the way. Listy rounds first, is headed towards second. The throw comes in. It's not going to be in time. And the St. Louis Saints, again, Scott, first pitch swinging, first and second inning, both have ended up in hits for St. Louis.
And well done. I mean, down the line.
So that'll bring Luke Hussier, I'm hoping I'm pronouncing his name correctly, at the plate. Boudreau checks the runner at second. Hussier shows bunt. Lays down a beauty. Bounces. Boudreau's able to play this one, though. The Rebels cover from second base with Shambo, and that retires the first out of the inning for St. Louis here in the top of the second.
So that was LeBuff.
Oh, that was LeBuff. Yeah. Oh, okay. So Hussier led off with the double. LeBuff sacrifices him over to third, and that brings the top of the order up. Morrow here in the second. Swing and a miss. Morrow can't find that fastball. He's swinging first pitch as Boudreau gets ahead. No balls, one strike here in the top of the second. Winds, fires. That's going to be outside, even the count at 1-1.
No, Boudreau can just lock in. Steady the ship here.
Here comes the 1-1 offering. That's going to be popped up. Shambo cannot make the catch as it was trouble just in no man's land. And Shambo called Boudreau off, and now there's runners at the corners, one away here in the top of the second.
And who's to say it wasn't swirling around up there, too.
Now batting number 27, Michael Weiss.
That'll bring Weiss to the plate, two-hole hitter and center fielder for St. Louis. He bunted the runners over last time, but he bunted for a hit, Scott. It was not a sacrifice. We'll see what he does here if he squares to bunt again. He does. It was a beautiful bunt last time. He'll take this one outside for ball one. Boudreau from the stretch. Rebels expecting bunt. They will take the strike, even the count, and the Rebels do not bother to throw down to second on the stolen base. That'll put runners at second and third with one away. Boudreau to deliver. Breaking ball finds the zone. I was about to say, I was waiting on the umpire to call it. I'm like, man, that was a pretty pitch.
Well, we're waiting because it's close, right? And just way to walk that line.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Boudreau going to come home. Swing and a miss. That is a Summit Financial strikeout here at Teurlings Catholic High. Isaac Boudreau, I believe, his first of the afternoon for the Rebels, and that one was severely needed.
Now batting the pitcher, number 30, Jack Garcia.
So you got Garcia, who walked in the first, Kevon.
First offering is popped towards second off the chop. Picked up by Storms, thrown across the infield, and he's out. What a play by Storms. That arm, there is no substitute, Scott, for an absolute howitzer from third base. Storms making up for that error in the first with an absolute web gem to make that play.
And Storms knows when he's got to just ramp it up about 3 notches. Wow.
St. Louis coaches wanted a little discussion about the call, but from up here, it looked like it was not as close as they would like to argue. It looked like he was clearly out. So the Rebels give up no runs on 2 hits, no errors to head us to the bottom of the second inning, leading 4-3 over St. Louis on the Teurlings Catholic Sports Network.
At Oxnard Lafayette General, we're here to get you moving and keep you moving. Our team of experts delivers specialized, coordinated care through a nationally renowned orthopedic and sports medicine program, providing the most advanced equipment and modern facilities, and covering you from the field to fast forward your healing. Oxner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Long live you.
Uncle T's Oyster Bar in Scott is your destination for Acadiana's best local seafood.
Enjoy our delicious specialties, including raw and charbroiled oysters, bald crawfish, small bites, salads, po' boys, and a variety of seafood baskets.
We feature happy hour specials every day from 2 to 6 with half off domestic draft and bottled beer.
And you can't leave without a serving of Mom and Nat's delicious bread pudding.
Uncle T's across the railroad tracks in Scott.
Serving Gulf oysters just the way you like them.
Teurlings Rebels lead at 4-3 as we head to the bottom half of the second inning. Alongside Scott Brazda, I'm Kevon Bordelon. This is the Teurlings Catholic Sports Network as the Rebels, Scott, are really looking to turn things around here as they will send, I believe that is John Aaron Swallow to the plate. So 8-9-1 here in the bottom of the second. That pitch is going to be low and inside for ball 1. Scott, it almost seems as if all the left-handed hitters from Teurlings have given Garcia just a little bit of an issue. As that one is swung at, popped up high to right field. Second baseman drifting over. It's just going to be right at the edge of the infield. Didn't go nearly as deep as I thought it would. And that's going to retire the first batter here in the top of the inning, or bottom of the inning.
Shows you how high he hit it, though. He was almost halfway to second.
Yeah. Rebel left fielder Carter Deculus will now step to the plate. Shows bunt, pulls it back. Opposing batter's box means it's a ball 1.
Carter hitting .270.
That pitch inside, too far left to right, brings it 2-0 to Deculus, who had a very big, timely hit yesterday to get the scoring started for the Teurlings Rebels.
I'm not doing Carter justice. Carter hitting .308.
That ball's going to be hit to left center. It might find grass. If it hangs up too long, it won't, but it's going to roll to the wall. Deculus on his way to second with a stand-up double. Here in the bottom of the second inning, Rebels will have a runner in scoring position with only 1 away.
And Carter takes .308, back up to about .311.
Now at the plate for the Rebels, number
And that was really nice, well placed.
Scott, with the way the wind was blowing out here and with what we've seen yesterday, I was worried that it was going to hang up too long and give the center fielder an opportunity to get there.
Well, that thin line between a line drive and a fly ball, you know, especially with the wind.
That'll turn the lineup over for the Rebels, send Caden Chavis to the plate. Rebels center fielder singled last at bat in the first.
Caden's an excellent bunter. What do we see with him? Advance a runner or drive in a runner?
Garcia will step off the mound and fake the throw to second.
You know, I know the new rules are, you know, the last couple of years about, you know, balks and things like that, and you've got to fake a throw, but it does look a little silly.
The thought behind it just allows for so much manipulation as Chavis shows bunt, pulls it back, and takes strike 1. Yeah, I'm just not a fan, Scott, of saying, well, we want you to at least fake the throw because we know you can fake the throw and get away with whatever you want to do. So we're just going to make you fake it.
I mean, you're going to have guys pulling muscles in their shoulders as they just kind of flop it around.
The 0-1 is low and gets away from Listy. That means a Rebel runner is at third as Deculus takes the base. And again, the Rebels are 90 feet away from getting another run across here in the bottom of the second.
One of Caden's classic bunts. Or do you let him go?
1 ball, 1 strike to Chavis. That's in for a strike, make it 1-2. Beautiful pitch, but Scott, you almost have to wonder if Chavis was given the take sign there as it was almost right down the middle.
We want contact.
Nice swing by Chavis to keep himself alive at the plate. And the Rebels have done a nice job of that this afternoon, Scott. Maybe not the pitch they want, but they're able to make enough contact to keep the at-bat alive, and that has served them well through an inning and a third. That ball's low. It's going to get away. Deculus is going to start to come towards home plate, and now he's going to be back in time. Another potentially nefarious base running error by the Rebels at third base, Scott. You cannot have outs occurring at third base trying to get back to the bag.
Yeah, and I wonder about the communication, say, between Deculus and Brooks Battle. Also, that ball was in a tough spot. That was like in...
Chavis swings and cannot find it, and the strikeout is what the Rebels could not have. As you said, you needed contact, a ball in play to try and get the run home. That'll send Will Power to the plate. He singled last time he made an appearance. This time it'll have to be a little 2-out magic in order to get the run home. Pitch is right down the middle for strike 1. Garcia not playing any games with that offering.
No, and the importance now of that strikeout is, Garcia can focus strictly on Power.
That's going to be hit towards left. If it stays fair, it does. Yes. That's going to score a run. It's extra bases for Power, who's now got a single and a double on the afternoon. He's going to hold up before he tries to go to third. And what a nice, timely hit from Will Power, Scott, for the Teurlings Rebels to get the RBI.
And Power zooms that average up to about 317.
Rebels have made it a 5-3 ball game. They have now matched the hit total from St. Louis, both teams with 5 hits in the ball game.
Pair of doubles.
Clavel takes ball 1. Looks like it came in maybe a little low. That's a tough take, because that pitch looked like it was going to come in as a fastball just right down the middle about belt high, and then the bottom dropped out. This ball is fouled back to even the count at 1-1.
We're waiting for Clavel in that home run swing to team up with the ball. I don't know if today's the day, especially with that crazy wind.
I was about to say, there is an awful lot of wind out there. That breaking ball finds the strike zone, brings the count to 1-2. Clavel would love to keep the inning going here for the Rebels. That pitch is high and outside, and there's going to be no throw from Listy as the Rebels take third base, and Will Power is again 90 feet away with 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs here in the bottom of the second. Rebels trying to make it a 6-3 ball game as they've already plated 5 in the afternoon.
I know it's just a couple innings, but I'm impressed by Listy. I mean, he's smart catcher.
That ball grounded foul shy of first base, keeps the at-bat alive and keeps the count at 2-2.
Listy has made a couple really good, really smart non-throws.
Wind really kicking up. That's in for a strike. It froze Clavel. A beautiful pitch from Garcia, But the Rebels get 1 run on 2 hits and no errors from St. Louis to make it a 5-3 ball game here at Teurlings Catholic High. Top of the third when we come back here on the Teurlings Catholic Sports Network.
Walking in and seeing all the people at the Aspen Clinic makes it so much easier to just get started.
Coming here and having a real person makes the difference.
The accountability is a big thing because it gets you to your goals quicker.
The Aspen Clinic offers more than just GLP-1s.
Because you deserve more than just a prescription. They would never give me anything that would harm me, and they only want the best for me.
No contracts, no membership fees, just real in-person support.
Don't wait, call the Aspen Clinic today.
In the heart of Lafayette, something strong is growing. We believe in creating opportunity right here, so our young professionals don't have to leave Louisiana to build their future. At Beal & Aber, we're proud to stand up for the people of Acadiana. When you need strong legal representation, whether you're injured in a car wreck, have a construction dispute, you are dealing with a civil matter, or you just need help with estate planning, we're here when it matters most. Beal & Aber, Acadiana's hometown lawyer.
Catholic High, the Teurlings Rebels lead it 5-3 over the Saints of St. Louis out of Calcasieu Parish. Alongside Scott Brazda, I'm Kavan Bordelon, bringing you Teurlings Rebels baseball presented by Beal & Aber, Acadiana's hometown attorney. Scott, it was so nice to have Lance Beal here the other day with us, just to kind of talk about his philosophy and what he does and why he supports the community, because there's not many people I know who support the community here at Teurlings or anywhere like Lance does.
And I'm glad you said community, because Lance is, we're just a piece of his philanthropic pie, because he helps out so many different causes.
4-5-6 here in the inning for St. Louis. It's Maddox Swallow at the plate. The St. Louis second baseman takes the first offering from Isaac Boudreau outside for ball 1.
Swallow with a single and an RBI in the first. Nice pitch.
That
low
pitch must have been a little low. Bring the count to 2-0. That pitch is going to be high for a 3-0 count, and we have not seen Boudreau get behind 3-0 many times here this afternoon, Scott. We've seen him get behind batters, but not 3 balls, no strikes, basically being forced to throw a fastball right down the middle. And that's a 4-pitch walk as Swallow heads towards first base. And again, Scott, St. Louis has the leadoff man on here in the 3rd inning.
Yeah, Boudreaux has had a tough time locking in.
At the plate now, the left fielder, number 6, Carter.
This would be a good place to start.
So that'll bring Carter Orndorff to the plate. And Scott, I have to wonder, just because I'm a kid of the 80s and 90s, which means I remember Mr. Perfect Paul Orndorff, and I have to wonder if he's related in some way, shape, or form.
Spells it the same way?
It is spelled the same way, yes. Now, judging by physical stature, Mr. Perfect was a solid 6'5", 6'6". Hopefully Carter can grow into that frame if he is related. If not, he might be related to me at 5'8" on a good day. That pitch is low and outside. Make it a 2-0 count to Orndorff. Orndorff shows bunt again. That should be in for a strike, and it is, to bring the count to 2-1. Runner at first, nobody out, top of the 3rd. Rebels lead at 5-3. But St. Louis has found a way to put men on base every inning, and that's another beautiful pitch in for a strike from Boudreau. Brings the count to 2-2.
Headed along that outside corner of the plate and then just tailed off as it got to our Swallow, our catcher.
Here comes the make it happen pitch. That breaking ball didn't quite drop into the zone, brings it full at 3-2.
Rebels in the middle of a 3-game stretch. It's at North Vermilion tomorrow for those guys. We won't have the game, but
3-2 pitch is hit towards right. Vincent backs up just a bit, makes the catch, and that retires the first out of the inning as Orndorff flies out to right field.
And Evan walked the line beautifully because he, he's left-handed. He turned his glove. He turned his body there, and he was watching the runner. He was watching Swallow because if Swallow had taken one extra step towards second, Evan was ready to fire the ball to Gonzalez and try to double him up.
Designated hitter Connor Boudreau steps in for St. Louis as that first offering is outside from the Rebels' Boudreau.
Double play opportunity. Why not?
That pitch cannot be found. Evens the count at 1-1.
And the way that one tailed off, too, come on. That was, like a couple pitches ago, walking the line, the corner of the plate, and then just tailed off in the opposite batter's box.
Boudreau now comes set, winds, fires. That's going to be off the turf. Nice job by Swallow, Scott, to catch a piece of that ball with his glove.
Well, they're always telling you, keep it in front of you.
Two balls, one strike, one away here. Top of the third inning. Rebels lead it 5-3. Breaking ball is behind the batter, so it's a breaking ball that never broke, and it brings the count to 3-1.
Yeah, breaking balls that never break are just dangerous, high, straight balls.
Again, give Swallow credit for being able to find that one with his glove. If not, the runner might have been at third.
Yeah, he was Mr. Fantastic. He got that arm up there.
The 3-1 pitch is outside, and we have a free pass here in the third, which sends runners to first and second for St. Louis. With Listy coming to the plate, he doubled last time he was at bat.
3 walks by Boudreau through less than 3 innings.
Rebels would love a double play ball here. We've already got one on the afternoon as Boudreau will step off the Staff Sergeant Richards Pool pitcher's mound here at Teurlings Catholic High, brought to you by Diamond G Farms. Rocks, fires. Foul ball is going to make it out of play. Swallow was in chase, but nobody's going to get there when it lands behind the bleachers.
Boudreau came into the game with 11 strikeouts and 7 walks, so that strikeout to walk ratio is pretty tight, and he's already got those walks up to 10. And so that even in just now 11 innings, he's had to battle that a little bit.
And Scott, as we talked about in the pregame show with Tommy Dean, he hasn't seen a ton of innings here so far this year. That is going to be hit towards second. Taylor made. There's your double play, and that is going to do it for St. Louis here in the third. The Rebels, Scott, 2 twin killings so far this afternoon. As we head to the bottom of the third when we come back, Rebels with a 5-3 lead over St. Louis here on the Teurlings Catholic Sports Network.
At Oxnard Lafayette General, we're here to get you moving and keep you moving. Our team of experts delivers specialized, coordinated care through a nationally renowned orthopedic and sports medicine program, providing the most advanced equipment and modern facilities, and covering you from the field to fast forward your healing. Oxnard Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Long live you.
Uncle T's Oyster Bar in Scott is your destination for Acadiana's best local seafood.
Enjoy our delicious specialties, including raw and charbroiled oysters, bald crawfish, small bites, salads, po' boys, and a variety of seafood baskets.
We feature happy hour specials every day from 2 to 6 with half off domestic draft and bottled beer.
And you can't leave without a serving of Mom and Nat's delicious bread pudding.
Uncle T's across the railroad tracks in Scott.
Serving Gulf oysters just the way you like them.
Headed towards the bottom of the third inning, your Teurlings Rebels lead at 5-3 over the Saints of St. Louis. Scott, this is a big game for the Rebels to potentially get back on track. They got the win yesterday against Rain High to get the district win. Rain is a very good ball club. But St. Louis may be one of the best ball clubs that the Rebels face all season, especially with as hot as they have been as of late.
Yeah. I was eating a sandwich. I saw you gesturing toward the microphone, going, I'm talking, and realized the microphone was above my head because Old Time Grocery. Thank you very much, Ross. Anyway, yeah, you're right, Kevon. I mean, it's let's do this better. Yeah.
So it's going to be Gonzalez, Vincent, Storms here. That's 4, 5, 6 in the bottom of the third. Rebels, as I said, with a 2-run lead here in the bottom of the third.
You know, the STM game kind of shook up the Rebels a little bit, maybe in that 7th inning where, it was a 5-4 game and then STM blew it open. Rebels have come back with some victories, but this is an STM-like ball club they're facing right here.
So it's a 1-1 count to Gonzalez. The Rebel cleanup hitter swings and fouls this one off to make it 1-2. And Scott, it was a beautiful breaking pitch to open up the frame for strikes here by Garciel. Just a beautiful breaking ball. Gonzalez settles into the box drop batter's box from the right side, swings and puts this one in play. Hit towards short, fielded cleanly. Throw across the field is in time, and that retires the leadoff man here for the Teurlings Rebels in the third.
You know, Gonzalez is a nice average, great first baseman, but I'm just waiting for him to explode because he's got all the tools.
Well, as we've said, the Rebels have a grand total of 2 home runs on the season. He's got one of them. That'll bring Vincent to the plate for the Rebels. Rebel right fielder walked his first at bat. That breaking ball does not find the zone, makes it 1-0.
Well, and just before his walk, there were 2 wild pitches thrown in front of him or behind him. Both.
That pitch bounces off the turf, make it 2-0. Scott, if there's one thing that it does seem that Garciel has battled with, he's thrown a lot of balls bouncing off the turf. It almost makes me wonder for Listy behind the plate what type of field St. Louis has at home. Is it dirt or is it turf like Teurlings? As this ball is hit a ton towards left center. The question is, can anybody get there? They can't. It's going to be extra bases, and it'll be a stand-up double for Evan Vincent. Just a beautiful shot to left center.
You know, in Kevon Bordelon Memorial Field, that ball would have been out.
Yeah, that's because I play on a Dixie Youth League size field.
But yeah, just finding right center and just nailing it. I mean, way to go.
And I did say left center. Thank you for correcting me there. It's right center, correct.
Just a big swing by a big-time player.
Scott, that's 2 innings in a row that the Rebels have had the leadoff man be out and then followed with a double by the 2-hole hitter in that particular inning.
You know, that one almost got away from, Garciel. And you wonder sometimes if, even with all of his tools, sometimes maybe he just tries to overthrow a little bit and try to do a little bit too much. Because, boy, when he is on, he's working those corners.
Brennan Storms walked his first at bat, and here comes the 1-0 pitch as the throw back to second has got him on the back pick. Now we're in the rundown, and Evan Vincent gets taken off the bases. That is a critical running error or base running error that you cannot have if you're the Teurlings Rebels and you want to go far in the playoffs.
And look, St. Louis, this is why they're such a good program consistently. They work on those little things. I mean, that's twice they've nailed Rebel runners.
Oh, Scott, look, that is a little league pickoff play that is just fundamentally sound. You're just looking for daylight. If your shortstop can get between the base and the runner, and when the shortstop broke behind him moving right to left, as you watch the screen, you knew they had Vincent, who just had too much of a lead. Count now even, 1-1 to Brennan Storms. That's going to come in low, bring it to 2-1.
Well, with no one on, Storms just soon hit a home run then.
Storms puts this one in play. A little chopper picked up by the third baseman, then dropped. He's not going to get there. Would have been a tough play, Scott, even if he'd fielded it cleanly, even though he was moving in that direction, but just difficult to field. Looks like it's going to be given an error on that particular play.
And he's doing it all on the run, too, Kevon. I mean, he's trying to keep an eye on Storms. And, you're almost thinking ahead, too, right? You're thinking, all right, You think about the throw before you've actually cradled the ball.
That'll bring Cade Shambo to the plate for the Rebels. 2 away here in the bottom of the third, but the Rebels have a base runner again. Shambo shows bunt, pulls it back, takes ball 1 high.
You know, there's a couple base running, problems. The pickoff at third a couple innings ago, and then what happened to Vincent. Those little things, those little runs can be a big difference, especially against a team like St. Louis.
That fastball right down the middle evens the count at 1-1. And Scott, here's what you have to think. The out at third would have scored because of the double that you got to score a couple of people. It definitely would have come in. You might have gotten all the runs in, so you might have tacked one on in the first to make it 5 runs in the first. And now you'd be sitting at runners at first and second with 1 out with Shambo at the plate. That's going to be low and off of Listy. He's not going to be able to hold on to it. Give him credit for actually taking it off the chest pad. He tried to slide over. But, Scott, it is one of those things where we have seen multiple pitches from Garciel into the turf. Runner now in scoring position. The question is, can Shambo do anything with it? He's going to hit this one towards right, and it's going to be a pop-out for Shambo as the Rebels leave one man stranded, get no runs on 1 hit, 1 error, 1 man left on base as we now head to the 4th. Top of the inning when we come back. Rebels lead at 5-3 on the Teurlings Catholic Sports Network.
Tired of overpaying for mattresses? Stop! Box Drop Lafayette can save you 50 to 80% off big box prices. Brands include Sealy, Serta Simmons, and more. Twins start at $89, fulls at $120, queens from $128, kings from $198. Plus, adjustable bases, sofas, sectionals, and more. All factory direct. Huge savings, better sleep. 3221 Highway 90 East in Broussard, 5 miles south of the airport, or boxdroplafayette.com. Call 337-780-7076. Don't pay retail. We even have easy payment plans. Sleep better, save bigger. Box Drop Lafayette. Proudly from Pocheville, Louisiana, Diamond G Farms may no longer be running full operations, but our heart for this community beats stronger than ever. Honored to memorialize the pitching mound at Teurlings Catholic High School baseball, now officially named in memory of brave Staff Sergeant Richard Poole. To the Rebels, players, coaches, and fans, keep throwing strikes, swinging for the fences, and honoring those who served. Diamond G Farms, supporting faith, family, and future champions. Go Rebels!
8-9-1 due up at the plate for St. Louis as we head to the 4th inning here at Teurlings Catholic High alongside Scott Brazda. I'm Kevon Bordelon. This is Teurlings Catholic Baseball, brought to you by Beal and Hebert, Acadiana's hometown attorneys. And Scott, I think the story of the afternoon isn't necessarily that the Rebels have managed to scratch 5 across. I think it's that the Rebels on the base paths have had some problems that need to get corrected.
Yeah, and it's something they usually don't do, Kevon, and so it's them, and then, boy, I'm just really impressed. So much of this is coach-driven. I'm really impressed by the way St. Louis clearly looks at these things, watches these things. And it's the difference between a good team and a very, very good team.
Luke Houssier, the Saints shortstop, will head to the plate. He's in the box drop batter's box from the right side as Broussard set to deliver from the Staff Sergeant Richard Poole pitcher's mound. That ball's popped up. Storms at third base is going to give way to Power. Power squeezes it, and the Rebels retire 1 on 1 pitch in the top of the 4th.
Now, we're getting some good communication there. We're back to communicating.
That'll bring Zach LaBeouf, the second baseman for the Saints, to the plate. That ball bounces off the turf and high into the net. For those at home, it gives you a good idea of sometimes the difference between dirt at home plate and turf at home plate.
Yep.
Because if that goes into the dirt, the odds of it popping up that high are pretty slim. But off of a turf surface, it can go anywhere. Breaking ball, a beautiful pitch. Look, credit LaBeouf with even getting part of the bat on it, because that ball broke probably 7 to 12 inches.
And I love I've said this before over the years we've done baseball, but the ability of a pitcher to attack the inside strike zone.
Here comes the 1-1 pitch. That's going to be swung at and missed by LaBeouf. Make it 1-2. That pitch is high. Boudreaux would have loved Scott to maybe have him go after some high heat. Instead, LaBeouf stays disciplined and makes it 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Yeah, you're hoping he'd be a little less disciplined.
That pitch is outside and brings the count full.
I mean, Boudreaux went inside. He went down the middle but high. This time he went outside. Got to deliver now.
That's going to be swung at towards third. Storms, fields cleanly, throws across the infield, and Scott Brennan Storms just has an absolute cannon for a right arm.
And it's field the ball, half a step, and then gun. It's almost like that half a step just adds that little extra oomph, that little extra energy and strength to the arm.
So that's 2 down here for St. Louis in the top of the 4th inning. Order turns over as Morrow comes to the plate. That's going to be fouled back into the net, bring the count to 0-1.
Morrow single back in the second.
Boudreaux now set. Delivers low and outside, brings the count even.
The left center club well in play for the Teurlings Rebels. Just on the outside of the fence. Got to be about 10 folks there.
Boudreaux now going to come home. Catches the inside black of the plate, makes it 1 ball and 2 strikes. Hit towards third. Storms again. Fielded cleanly. Throw is in plenty of time, and the Rebels go 1-2-3 on St. Louis for the first time this afternoon. No runs, no hits, no errors. Rebels lead it 5-3 after 3.5 as we head to the bottom of the 4th when we come back on the Teurlings Catholic Sports Network.
Tired of overpaying for mattresses? Stop! Box Drop Lafayette can save you 50 to 80% off big box prices. Brands include Sealy, Serta Simmons, and more. Twins start at $89, fulls at $120, queens from $128, kings from $198. Plus, adjustable bases, sofas, sectionals, and more. All factory direct. Huge savings, better sleep. 3221 Highway 90 East in Broussard, 5 miles south of the airport, or boxdroplafayette.com. Call 337-780-7076. Don't pay retail. We even have easy payment plans. Sleep better, save bigger. Box Drop Lafayette. Proudly from Pocheville, Louisiana, Diamond G Farms may no longer be running full operations, but our heart for this community beats stronger than ever. Honored to memorialize the pitching mound at Teurlings Catholic High School baseball, now officially named in memory of brave Staff Sergeant Richard Poole. To the Rebels, players, coaches, and fans, keep throwing strikes, swinging for the fences, and honoring those who served. Diamond G Farms, supporting faith, family, and future champions. Go Rebels!
It's getting to be a running joke up here in the press box at Teurlings Catholic High because it almost seems as if Aaron is attempting to catch us eating when he comes back from break alongside Scott Brasda. I'm Kevon Bordelon. Rebels lead it 5-3 as we head to the bottom of the 4th inning.
Well, it's like fishing, though, Aaron. I mean, just got to be patient. It's going to happen. It's going to happen multiple times, especially as we continue this into other sports.
John Aaron Swallow at the plate for the Rebels here in the 4th to lead things off, and that's a beautiful line drive. And, you know, sometimes the baseball gods just aren't in your favor as he hit it right at the first baseman for St. Louis to record the out.
Well, you said this yesterday. I mean, when I got here late, Swallow had already hit a couple balls, but right at people. That's case in point. It's going to happen for you, Swallow. Stay with it.
That'll bring Deculus to the plate for the Rebels. His last at bat was a double. He'll square to bunt and take one outside, but I think he left the bat out for strike one.
Yeah, double scored a run back in the bottom of the second.
Breaking ball is going to find the zone, and Scott, there's not much you can do about that as a hitter. I mean, it started over his shoulders and then just broke through the zone. Absolutely filthy pitch.
Yeah, Garcia's got some nasty things, man.
Deculus is able to get a timeout called from the box drop batter's box.
You know, against a really good team like the Rebels, you're tested. Against lesser teams, Garcia must just dominate and scare other teams. And he's got the Rebels' respect for sure.
That pitch skips its way past the plate for ball one. That one's going to be low and outside, even the count at 2-2, as Garcia trying to get Deculus to swing at something that's not in the zone, and Deculus with a good eye. Breaking ball did not find the zone, and Scott, I was worried that one was close. Count now comes full, 3 balls, 2 strikes, 1 away to Carter Deculus.
You know, Carter's had a number of walks. I mean, he's got a good eye. He's got double-digit walks.
Nice job of fouling that one off, as it looked like Garcia came with the breaking ball again.
Leadoff hitter yesterday, number 9 hitter today, but boy, you put him and Chavis back-to-back.
That ball's going to be hit up the middle, and Deculus is 2 for 2 this afternoon as the Rebel left fielder collects a single. And again, Scott, the Rebels give up the out with the leadoff hitter in the inning, and then the second hitter of the inning. This is 3 innings in a row that they've now put on base via a safe hit into the field of play.
Last inning was Gonzalez with the ground out, and then Vincent with the double. Before that, it was Swallow with the out and Deculus with the double.
That brings Caden Chavis to the plate. He has singled and struck out this afternoon, Scott.
Single and struck out. Very good, Kevon Bordelon. Student of the game you are.
Every now and then you get lucky. Chavis takes that one for strike one. Fouls that one off to make it 0-2. And Scott, you have to wonder if Brooks Batto is going to have the team on a relatively short base running leash. He likes to get aggressive, but given that you've had 2 men thrown out, 1 at third and 1 at second, you certainly don't want to replicate those mistakes.
Yeah, that could make you a little gun shy, but then that would kind of go against Brooks Batto too. So
Chavis can't find the pitch and is struck out for the second time this afternoon. Beautiful pitch by Garcia, as that'll send Will Power to the plate for the Rebels, who has singled and doubled on the afternoon. Saints doing everything they can to make sure they keep the Rebel base runners in check. They've done a nice job of it this afternoon to keep it 5-3. There goes the attempt on the steal. Throw is not going to be in time. Second baseman couldn't hold on to the ball as it was, so the Rebels have a runner in scoring position if Will Power can come up with his 3rd hit of the day.
You know, we've been talking about how great, St. Louis has been with the little things. The Rebels working on things, knowing when to slide, properly slide, not over-sliding right there, because it wasn't a bad throw. And had he bounced off that bag for just a fraction, he'd been out. Working on those little things.
Breaking ball can't come in over the plate, makes it 2 balls, no strikes, as Power, Scott, actually squared to show bunt. That pitch is outside, make it 3-0, and you have to, at this point, wonder, what's the pitch count for Garcia on the hill? So 86. We are told this 86 or 96? So this will be unofficially the 86th pitch of the game for Garcia, and that's going to be high and outside. And the Rebels have runners on first and second, 2 out in the bottom of the fourth.
Now, we saw someone throwing last inning for St. Louis. That was number 2. But no one up there right now.
That'll bring Hudson Clavel to the plate for the Rebels. He's going to hit this one towards center. It's going to dance around. Should not be a difficult play in left center now. And that is going to retire the side. So the Rebels leave 2 men stranded. It'll be a 5-3 lead when we come back. Top of the, are we headed to the 4th or the 5th? I'm looking at the scoreboard. Top of the 5th. That's what I thought right here on the Teurlings Catholic Sports Network.
Walking in, seeing all the people at the Aspen Clinic makes it so much easier to just get started.
Coming here and having a real person makes the difference.
The accountability is a big thing because it gets you to your goals quicker.
The Aspen Clinic offers more than just GLP-1s.
Because you deserve more than just a prescription. They would never give me anything that would harm me, and they only want the best for me.
No contracts, no membership fees, just real in-person support.
Don't wait, call the Aspen Clinic today.
In the heart of Lafayette, something strong is growing. We believe in creating opportunity right here, so our young professionals don't have to leave Louisiana to build their future. At Beal & Aber, we're proud to stand up for the people of Acadiana. When you need strong legal representation, whether you're injured in a car wreck, have a construction dispute, you are dealing with a civil matter, or you just need help with estate planning, we're here when it matters most. Beal & Aber, Acadiana's hometown lawyers.
Teurlings Rebels lead it 5-3 over the Saints of St. Louis High here at Teurlings Catholic High on a beautiful Friday afternoon ball game. Alongside Scott Brazda, I'm Kavan Bordelon. Scott, we have so many people to thank for making Teurlings Catholic baseball happen. JB Mouton.
No, we don't.
Yeah. Old Time Grocery, Don's Specialty Meats. When we think about everything that they've done to make this happen and create the Teurlings Catholic Sports Network, it's really cool to see the community come together.
You know, Lemoyne, it's just, you know, we've said it before, and you can't stop saying it. A number of companies who don't have to do things like this, support ventures like ours or any other schools, but realize anything you can do to sing the praises of great kids, great teams, great schools, and they get out there and do that. You know, you could just sit there and count your money and sit on your bags of gold, but these guys get it.
So it's Vice, Garcia, and Swallow here in the 5th as Boudreaux's second offering is in for ball 2.
And, you know, you have good schools, you know, like Teurlings, like St. Louis, like STM. You know, we have a number of really good ones. People want to stay here when they start their businesses here. They graduate from UL or LSU. They want to be in Acadiana.
2-0 offering catches the front corner of the plate for a strike. Make it 2 balls, 1 strike.
All right, Derek. Come on, bud.
That ball's hit sharply down the first baseline. It's fair, and that's going to be extras. Scott, I think Evan Vincent in left field, or right field rather, thought it was foul and didn't realize, as it's almost an in the Parker, it's going to be a triple to lead things off for the 2-hole hitter Michael Weiss.
Boy, talk about a ball that just walked the line perfectly, like a tightrope walker.
Now batting the pitcher, number 30.
I wish we could replay that on the Tommy Dean Jumbotron. But funding's a little slow right now on that.
I was about to say, and you messed that up, Scott. It's a Tommy Dean Memorial Jumbotron.
Yeah, he's been gone for a while. He was a good guy.
And, Scott, we might have a Lemoyne pitching change from the Teurlings Rebels as everybody wants to have a conversation. As I hate to say it, that was just more of a mental error on the Rebels. I mean, it was probably a double. I doubt it was a triple. But it looked like the Rebels kind of gave up on that ground ball down the first baseline just thinking it was foul.
And then, unlike Vincent, it got away from him too then. And the double became a triple.
And, yep, we are going to have a Lemoyne Company pitching change out on the Staff Sergeant Richard Poole pitching mound here at Teurlings Catholic High. So, Scott, look, a nice afternoon by Isaac Boudreau. He did a really nice job of minimizing the damage in the first inning.
Yeah, did a good job of settling down, Kevon.
Well, and working through the adversity. I mean, the reality is the Rebels started this ball game with 3 straight base runners for St. Louis. St. Louis managed to score 3, but to hold St. Louis to 3 runs and collect your 3 outs in the process, pretty stout work. And then after that, Boudreau had an absolutely nice afternoon. Gave up a couple of hits, a couple of base runners, but I'm looking at the scoreboard, and under 2, 3, and 4, it's nothing but zeros. Boudreau makes his way towards the dugout to a nice round of applause here at Teurlings Catholic High.
Defensive change for the Rebels. Now on the mound, number 17, Carson Crater.
Carson Crater will be the new man on the hill for our Lemoyne Company pitching change. Let's see if we can get you some statistics on
I've got him right
Crater.
here. Yeah, I've got him right here, Kevon. 14 innings pitched, 5 games started. Let's see, he's got 2 games started. He's played in 5 games, 1 and 2 on the year. 4 strikeouts. 10 strikeouts, 4 walks, 13 earned runs. ERA at not too bad, 1.8. Not too bad.
So the Rebels will go to Crater on the hill to try and keep this game close, because St. Louis, with nobody out here in the top of the 5th, has the tying run approaching the plate, Scott, with a runner at third just 90 feet away. And you know St. Louis will do everything they can to absolutely manufacture the run to get them within 1 here at Teurlings Catholic. One of the things we haven't talked about a whole bunch, Scott, and we've discussed it a little bit, you cannot underplay the defensive play in the field by the Rebels. I mean, you've got 2 double plays in this ball game. You've got a couple of plays by Brennan Storms that are just almost a living highlight reel, because what he did yesterday and this afternoon, that's not a normal high school third baseman.
Well, and the thing about Storms, too, is say one gets by him, like beginning of the game. Then he makes a couple that you don't even remember the first one.
St. Louis has once again out-hit the Rebels 7-6 after the triple to lead things off here in the 5th. So Crater comes set, looks to swallow, and that's going to be popped up out of play, make it 0-1. Garciel would love to help his own cause here. When we talk about pitchers who've done a nice job of settling down, Scott, Garciel gave up 4 in the first, 1 in the second, and nothing since then.
And Garciel with a walk and a ground out.
That ball's hit a ton, but it's way foul down the third baseline, make it 0-2. Crater now comes set. That's going to be hit into the gap between third and short. That'll score the run. And St. Louis is 1 run away from tying the ball game here at Teurlings.
Turned on it like a champ in that gap between third and short.
Now batting number 3, Maddox Swallow.
So that'll bring Swallow to the plate.
Swallow's got a single and a walk.
Breaking ball from Crater. Cannot be handled at third by Storms. And that'll put runners at first and second here in the 5th as St. Louis has something going here, Scott. The Rebels holding on to a 5-4 lead.
That was kind of a crazy bounce on power on Storms.
Now batting number 6, Carter Orndorff.
That'll send Carter Orndorff to the plate. Still nobody out here in the top of the 5th. Rebels have already surrendered a run to St. Louis. Crater on the hill for the Rebels as Orndorff shows bunt. It rolls foul for 0-1. Now, Scott, if you're Brooks Botto, this is a great opportunity to see what Crater is going to give you throughout the rest of the season. You put him in a high-pressure situation.
Yep.
He's throwing strikes. He's been hit a little bit, though. And now you've got to see if he can work his way out of this jam to keep this game close or keep the Rebels in the lead. Orndorff lays this one down. It's going to be picked up. The throw from Storms to first base is in time to get the out. The runners advance. That was an absolutely gorgeous bunt. I mean, it stayed on the third baseline. Storms had to make a decision. He ended up making the right one.
And you know he's like hoping and hoping it goes foul.
Now headed to the plate, number 11, Connor Boudreaux.
That'll bring the 6-hole hitter Connor Boudreaux to the plate. He is the DH for St. Louis. Runners are at second and third. Rebels do have one out here in the inning. That's going to be hit towards right. Does it stay fair? And it does not. That is a blessing for the Rebels, because if it was fair, it was trouble. It would have definitely cleared the bases.
Oh, it was walking the line. Walking the line again. St. Louis has done a nice job of telling their balls where to drop.
Scott, to your point, that would have been two here in the inning that both would have been just right down the first baseline. The 0-1 to Boudreaux. Breaking ball cannot be found, and that makes it 0-2. Check that. Umpire says he got a little bit of it, but not enough. Crater has a signal that he likes. Swallow sets up just a little outside. Grounder towards first. Rebels are going to have to cover. They'll surrender the run, get the second out of the inning, but we have a tie ball game after this sacrifice and RBI by Connor Boudreaux.
And it's a smart play. I mean, everything's moving toward first base. The momentum just of your body just wouldn't work to double back.
That'll bring Saints catcher Asa Listy to the plate. Breaking ball finds the outside edge, and it makes it 0-1. Crater's offering just high and outside, bring the count even at 1 ball and 1 strike.
Listy's had a bunt out and then hit into a double play.
Breaking ball again finds very difficult for the bat to find it, and it makes it 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Crater's starting to get into a little groove, and that breaking ball on the outside corner, that's been sweet.
That pitch is way outside as Crater was trying to get Listy to swing at a little bit of junk right there. 2-2 pitch, 2 outs, runner at third for St. Louis. They've scratched 2 across here in the top of the 5th. Breaking ball, and Crater thought he had it. He was on his way to the dugout. The umpire thinks differently and makes it 3-2.
Yeah, I think he just missed.
I agree with you. I think that pitch was just a smidgen outside, maybe even a little more. That one didn't miss. That is a Summit Financial strikeout. But the Rebels give up 2 runs on 2 hits, no errors, 1 man left on base as we head to the bottom of the 5th inning, a 5-5 ball game. St. Louis, your Teurlings Rebels on the Teurlings Catholic Sports Network.
Walking in, seeing all the people at the Aspen Clinic makes it so much easier to just get started.
Coming here and having a real person makes the difference.
The accountability is a big thing because it gets you to your goals quicker.
The Aspen Clinic offers more than just GLP-1s.
Because you deserve more than just a prescription.
They would never give me anything that would harm me, and they only want the best for me.
No contracts, no membership fees, just real in-person support.
Don't wait, call the Aspen Clinic today.
In the heart of Lafayette, something strong is growing. We believe in creating opportunity right here, so our young professionals don't have to leave Louisiana to build their future. At Beal & Aber, we're proud to stand up for the people of Acadiana. When you need strong legal representation, Whether you're injured in a car wreck, have a construction dispute, you are dealing with a civil matter, or you just need help with estate planning, we're here when it matters most. Beal and Abear, Acadiana's hometown lawyers.
St. Louis High School has found 2 runs in the top of the 5th to tie this ball game at 5. Rebels coming to the plate. Scott, the Rebels need some more offense in the worst way. They seem to have a great amount of momentum coming out of the second inning. They scored 4 in the first, 1 in the second, but they haven't managed anything since.
Well, they have a good batch of folks here who might be able to get something going. 4, 5, 6.
That'll be Mason Gonzalez, Evan Vincent, Brennan Storms. And yeah, Gonzalez, Scott, has got to be due this afternoon.
He's definitely got to be due.
To the bottom of the 5th inning, now batting for the Teurlings Rebels, number 4, Mason Gonzalez.
Gonzalez has a strikeout, a ground out, and maybe another at-bat here this afternoon. Garcia's still on the hill, and that's going to be swung at towards third. Too hot to handle. And as we said, Scott, Garcia must be due. And he is. Comes in with a single to lead things off. The first time I think the Rebels have had the leadoff man on since the first inning of the ball game.
Chavis, and then, yeah, you are correct.
Oh, I need a full Ed McMahon there. You are correct, sir. No.
Sorry, the one time I saw the Tonight Show with Johnny Carson, Doc was sitting in for Ed.
Evan Vincent takes strike 1 with Gonzalez on first. Vincent doubled to left center in his last at bat and then got picked off at second base. Unofficially, this is Garcia's 90th pitch as the breaking ball cannot find the strike zone, evens the count at 1-1.
Let's see if Vincent can't match what he did just a couple innings ago. Such a sweet double to right center.
Shows bunt, lays one down towards third. Fielded cleanly to throw, and first is in time, but the runner is moved over. Scott, you know, Brooks Batto is thinking manufacture, manufacture, manufacture.
Later in the game, you know, only a couple more chances by both teams.
That'll bring Brennan Storms to the plate. He's walked reach on an error. And again, another Teurlings Rebel at the plate who you just feel like he's due. Breaking ball from Garcia is too high, make it 1-0.
Yeah, I feel like Storms has been due all season. Offensively, defensively, getting the job done as he usually does.
That pitch finds the strike zone, make it 1-1. Runner checked at second. Breaking ball is going to be hit.
Drop.
Is it just high enough? And it is not. A beautiful play made at second base by St. Louis, and that's one of those ones, again, where just the baseball gods are not your friend, as Zach LaBeouf is able to extend to the top of his range, and the ball happens to meet him there.
Courtesy runner for the Teurlings Rebels, number 16, Kipton Mouton.
So it's 2 away here in the bottom of the 5th. Tie ball game, 5 apiece. Mouton's the courtesy runner for the Rebels.
And bringing up Shambo. Signal in the first, fly out in the third.
Scott, Garcia's got to be close to 100 pitches at this point, at least on the unofficial count. This would be, according to our unofficial count, throwing 95.
You mean our unofficial statistician with the unofficial count?
Correct. He is officially unofficial. Shambo takes that one low, and credit Listy with being able to keep it in front of him behind home plate. That breaking ball falls beautifully inside the zone, make it 1-1.
Big old looping breaking ball. Really nice.
Swung at and missed does Shambo, make it 1 ball, 2 strikes. And Scott, after a pitcher can land that type of breaking ball, it leaves hitters just guessing at pretty much everything at that point.
Yeah, it does.
So the 1-2 pitch with 2 away is now Shambo will step out of the box drop batter's box, step back in. That ball's hit towards first. Little bouncer fielded cleanly by the first baseman, stepping on the bag, retiring the side. And the Rebels do get a hit, but they cannot do anything with it, as that will then take us to the 6th inning. A 5-5 ball game. The St. Louis Saints, your Teurlings Rebels on the Teurlings Catholic Sports Network.
At Oxnard Lafayette General, we're here to get you moving and keep you moving. Our team of experts delivers specialized, coordinated care through a nationally renowned orthopedic and sports medicine program, providing the most advanced equipment and modern facilities, and covering you from the field to fast forward your healing. Oxnard Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Long live you.
Uncle T's Oyster Bar and Scott is your destination for Acadiana's best local seafood.
Enjoy our delicious specialties, including raw and charbroiled oysters, bald crawfish, small bites, salads, po' boys, and a variety of seafood baskets.
We feature happy hour specials every day from 2 to 6 with half off domestic draft and bottled beer.
And you can't leave without a serving of Mom and Nat's delicious bread pudding.
Uncle T's across the railroad tracks in Scott.
Serving Gulf oysters just the way you like them.
Pitcher for the Teurlings Rebels is Dylan Helms. The left-hander steps onto the Staff Sergeant Richard Poole pitcher's mound as he will take over here in the top of the 6th. Rebels and St. Louis Saints are tied at 5 runs apiece. St. Louis has out-hit the Rebels 8-1. Both teams have 1 error on the afternoon. And Scott, I think one of the big differences that we've seen here in this ballgame has been as beautiful of a game as Garciel has thrown for St. Louis. He's also one of the reasons the Rebels have 5 runs. 2 wild pitches, scored 2 runs in the first inning.
Yeah, we saw the best and the worst of Garciel. Had trouble. I think he threw 3 wild pitches on the game, and had some control problems. But boy, when he was working it, he was doing these looping curves on the inside corner of batters.
Once Helms settled down after the second, Scott, the Rebels were able to hit him around, and what really got him back on track were base running errors by the Rebels. A beautiful throwback to third base by St. Louis Saints catcher Asa Listy, and then Garciel was able to pick off a runner at second who just found himself way too far off the bag before the pitch was thrown.
Yeah, that's a good point. Without those throwing errors, you never know. Garciel might not even be in the game anymore.
So here comes Helms' first offering, and it is going to be outside for ball 1. It is Hussier, LeBuff, and Morrow. 8-9-1 here in the top of the 6th for St. Louis. Swing and a miss from the Rebel lefty. That evens the count at 1-1. Helms just misses the outside black of the plate to bring it to 2-1.
Trying to slide that ball over just a touch more.
Two-one pitch is hit towards third, and a snag by Rebel third baseman Brennan Storms retires the batter. Again, one of those where maybe now the baseball gods like you.
And Storms just pops right up. I mean, like routine. Yeah, no big deal.
Now at the plate, number 12, Zach LeBuff.
That'll bring the second baseman for the Saints to the plate. LeBuff, again hitting from the right side, takes ball 1. Helms not wasting much time as that's hit right back towards him. Helms fields it easily throws over to Gonzalez at first, and we have 2 outs here in the top of the 6th.
Quick reaction by Mr. Helms. And Morrow.
Now at the plate, number 7, Trace Morrow.
So the leadoff man now comes to the plate as St. Louis turns over the lineup. Helms wastes no time, and that's going to be outside for ball 1.
Last time up for Morrow, a ground out.
This one is hit towards left center. It might be trouble, or the Rebels have a man with wheels at center, and Chavis manages to get there. Scott, a beautiful catch by the Rebel center fielder.
Yeah, it might be trouble or it might be Chavis.
And it turned out to be more Chavis than trouble. So the Rebels send St. Louis to the dugout, 1-2-3. We'll head to the bottom of the 6th when we come back, tied at 5 on the Teurlings Catholic Sports Network.
Tired of overpaying for mattresses? Stop. Box Drop Lafayette can save you 50 to 80% off big box prices. Brands include Sealy, Serta Simmons, and more. Twins start at $89, fulls at $120, queens from $128, kings from $198. Plus, adjustable bases, sofas, sectionals, and more. All factory direct. Huge savings, better sleep. 3221 Highway 90 East in Broussard, 5 miles south of the airport, or boxdroplafayette.com. Call 337-780-7076. Don't pay retail. We even have easy payment plans. Sleep better, save bigger. Box Drop Lafayette. Proudly from Pocheville, Louisiana, Diamond G Farms may no longer be running full operations, but our heart for this community beats stronger than ever. Honored to memorialize the pitching mound at Teurlings Catholic High School baseball, now officially named in memory of brave Staff Sergeant Richard Poole. To the Rebels, players, coaches, and fans, keep throwing strikes, swinging for the fences, and honoring those who served. Diamond G Farms, supporting faith, family, and future champions. Go Rebels!
New pitcher for the St. Louis Saints is Khalil Leggett. We've got a little bit more movement on the infield for St. Louis. Looks like Garciel has gone to first, Morrow at second, and that is going to be the changes we see until we see the hitting lineup come through. Scott Brazda, and I'm Kevon Bordelon. Scott, Rebels, a 5-5 ball game. I'm not a fan of saying you're comfortable with the situation where it is in a 5-5 ball game, but the Rebels have not played poor baseball here today.
Oh, except on the base paths. But no, you're toe-to-toe. You're 5-5 with a really good team. You know, let's go back a week ago when we had STM. Same deal. You know, we were at 5-4 near the end of the ball game. This time, let's see if the Rebels can close the deal.
8-9-1 for the Rebels. John Aaron, Swallow, Deculus, and Chavis will definitely see the plate here this afternoon. And, Scott, I guess thinking about the game against St. Thomas More, you just felt in that game that the momentum of the game was all St. Thomas More the entire ball game. Where I almost feel like the momentum has been mostly Teurlings in this ball game. But when you look at the scoreboard, you look at how good of a ball club St. Louis is and realize this is a tie game, even though the Rebels maybe have had the momentum here at home.
Well, good teams find a way to stick around, and that's what St. Louis is doing.
The 1-1 pitch is low to Swallow, make it 2 balls, 1 strike.
You know, who knows, at game's end you could look at it and say, how did they win this game? Just didn't feel like it.
That pitch is outside, make it 3-1.
Swallow just rip a liner last time out?
He did, right to the first baseman. Leggett delivers. That's going to be outside, and the Rebels have the leadoff man on again. Here in the bottom of the 6th, that's always a good sign. Now, can the Rebels make it work on the base paths with Deculus coming to the plate? Deculus, Scott, is 2 for 2 this afternoon, I believe.
Single and a double, 2 for 3.
Okay.
Now in the batter's box, number 1, Carter Deculus.
It would not surprise me. It would not surprise me at all, Scott, to see Deculus square to bunt and see the Rebels just try and move people around the base paths here. There it is, and lays down a beautiful bunt. The left-hander's going to pick it up, throw to first, and he gets him at first. Deculus thought he was safe. I think the throw was in time. And credit Leggett with being able to pick that one up and make the throw. But that was a gorgeous bunt by Carter Deculus.
Now batting, number 10, Caden Chavis.
And that one wasn't as close at first as a couple of calls we've gotten, I think. So, but great job of advancing, great bunt. And, the only move Leggett had was to go to first.
So that'll bring Chavis to the plate for the Rebels. A runner in scoring position at second with only one out here in the bottom of the sixth. And now Leggett wants to step off of the hill for just a moment.
And Caden's had a back-to-back strikeout, so he'd like to get back into the groove. Average has got to be down to 530.
That pitch is outside, yeah. About to say, Scott, I think you said he's 1 for 3 this afternoon,
Yeah.
a single strikeout. Yeah. Heaven forbid you dip below 540. Chavis watches this one outside, make it 2-0.
And I watched Caden after those strikeouts, and no one is angrier about those strikeouts than Caden Chavis. He's got that look, so I'm sure he's itching to make up for it.
Scott, Leggett's got to find his release point. That right-hander, he throws about 3/4 arm, and he's leaving it just a little off the plate on most of his pitches. That one finds the outside third of the plate. That's a really pretty pitch. 2 balls, 1 strike, 1 away. Runner at second. Tie ball game at 5 apiece.
That was nice, about knee-high, outside corner of the plate.
Now he'll fake the spike.
See, there's my deal about the fake throw. It's ridiculous.
He fakes the NFL clock play from behind center as he almost spikes it towards the turf. 2 balls, 1 strike. That's going to be low, make it 3-1. Rebels would love nothing more than a conga line around the bases, Mr. Brazda, here in the 6th inning.
Well, you've got your top of your order to try to do it.
That's inside. Chavis takes the walk, and the Rebels now have runners at first and second. Only 1 away here in the bottom of the 6th. A 5-5 ball game. Right now would not be a bad place to scratch a run across and leave St. Louis with only 3 outs left to try and tie it up or win it. That'll bring Will Power to the plate. He's had a heck of an afternoon. He's already got a single and a double. That pitch is outside for ball 1. Oh, he called it a strike. Thank you for the correction up here in the press box. That pitch is low, even the count at 1-1.
Righty Leggett versus lefty Power.
Ideally, this is where you'd love to get a roller to the fence, Scott, because Chavis could probably score twice if you get one that rolls that far. There's one up the middle. It's going to be a seeing eye single, and here comes the runner towards home. And there's not even going to be a throw towards home. There's the throw to third as Chavis gets caught when the ball is cut off, and Chavis is out. But the Rebels push one across off of a single from Will Power. Chavis trying to take third, gets caught by the cutoff man. But regardless, the Rebels now have a 6-5 lead in the bottom of the 6th.
Zooming it right up the middle. Rebels being aggressive, seeing that extra delay.
3-hole hitter Hudson Clavel now comes to the plate for the Teurlings Rebels, Scott. And again, talk about a guy who's due again. Leggett throws that one outside. That'll send the runner to third. Listy not able to hang on behind home plate.
And so you all but assure that a base hit will score a run. But you're right, Hudson's doing it in a big way with a big hit.
Scott, I will gladly take a wild pitch here.
Yep.
To give the Rebels an insurance run and make it 7-5. Umpire had called time. Leggett apparently didn't see it.
Leggett was looking like in his windup, he was almost looking to center field.
Clavel will step back in for the 1-0. That's going to be inside. Make it 2-0.
Nice
Breaking
pitch.
ball finds the strike zone. Yeah, really nice pitch.
You could tell that was a nice pitch the minute it left his arm.
Yeah. Leggett working quickly, almost too quickly. That's inside, and that's going to get away. Coming towards home, and he's in safely. The Rebels get the insurance run to make it 7-5 as Will Power slides home. And what is the umpires trying to argue that Clavel was in the way? But the ball got past the catcher, and the pitcher was coming home. That's not anybody in the way.
All right, there's a meeting.
And I don't know what the St. Louis coach has a conversation with Hudson Clavel about.
Yeah, would that have even affected the play?
That's
Really
my whole
hadn't.
point. It couldn't have affected the play because the ball came back and to the right. Clavel stepped out and forward to the right. He is safe at home, and that is the call. Sometimes you just credit an opposing skipper with trying a little gamesmanship, you know.
Well,
you
you
know,
fight for your team.
you know you're going to lose the case, but you still argue it in front of the judge anyway, I guess.
Letting your boys know he's got your back.
So bases are cleared for Clavel. A 3-1 offering from Leggett coming fourth right. That's going to be hit towards first. Fielded cleanly. The side is done as he steps on the bag, but the Rebels get 2 runs on 1 hit. No errors, no men left on base. Heading to the top of the 7th. Rebels need 3 outs as they have a 7-5 lead over St. Louis here at Teurlings Catholic High. We're going to stay right here as we thank a couple of our sponsors, Scott. We're going to start with Bumgardner Family Dental. It's always a Teurlings broadcast when you have Bumgardner Family Dental with you in the house.
You know, and Ben was one of these guys I reached out to a few years ago when we were maybe doing a Teurlings Carencro football game. He's located right across from Carencro Middle. Just, hey, you want to do this game? And he's been with us every step of the way. Just great family dentistry. He will make the recommendations he needs to make. Great family. I've met Ben and a couple of his kids, and we just appreciate Ben. He is he's always a quick yes, and yet another one of those guys that understands that getting out there and getting the job done and supporting other schools is so important to all of Acadiana.
Another sponsor we'd like to thank is J.B. Mouton Builders since 1915 right here in Acadiana, building something not just for their clients but for the community.
The B.O.'s, Popey B.O., a legend, Stewart's become a friend, and he does so much work, and they're big on education, both public and private, and I can't thank Stewart enough.
So here we go. Top of the 7th inning. Rebels need 3 outs, but they'll have to face 2, 3, 4 in the lineup for St. Louis. That is going to be Weiss, Garciel, and Swallow in the lineup. Last time up, Weiss hit one down the first baseline. It stayed fair, and he ended up with a triple. That's going to be swung at and missed as Helmer's first pitch is in for a strike.
Weiss has also had a single and a strikeout.
That pitch is in for a
really
strike.
nice.
From a left-hander, that is such a difficult pitch to gauge as a right-handed hitter. Makes the count 0-2, and now Weiss faces Helmers, and Helmers leaves that one high and outside, make it 1-2.
Yeah, Helms was trying to get that.
Did I say Helmers? I'm going to LSU on that. Helms, yeah.
He was trying to get that top spot of that strike zone again, that far upper left corner.
Helms throws this one to Weiss. It's going to drop just past the extended arm of the Rebels' second baseman, Shambo, and the leadoff man is on for St. Louis here in the top of the 7th.
A bloop, but a single nonetheless.
That means Garciel represents the tying run at the plate with nobody out. Helms' first pitch is going to be outside as he checks the runner Vice at first.
Garcia, like Vincent, not just a pitcher, but just a good baseball player, hence the evidence by the fact that he's in the lineup now at first.
Helms comes home, and that's going to be outside, ball 2. Scott, this is where if you're Dylan Helms, just worried about getting the outs that are in front of you as opposed to the guy on the base paths, because if you can get 3 outs at home plate, the guy on the base paths doesn't matter in a 7-5 ball game.
Exactly.
That's going to be inside, make it 3-0. Garcia is also probably sitting on the take signal on this 3-0 pitch with nobody out. St. Louis would love base runners here in the top of the 7th. That's in for a strike, a nice pitch from Helms. Helms comes home and gets the strike. That is a nasty pitch.
And I think Brooks Battle would love for Helms to take care of this so he doesn't have to use Guillory and save Guillory to tomorrow.
Helms offering is outside. He issues the free pass, and now the go-ahead run for St. Louis approaches the plate in Maddox Swallow.
Now batting number 3, Maddox Swallow.
This might result in a Lemoyne pitching change, Scott, as coaches want to have a conversation, and yep, there's the ball, and Helms is going to head towards the dugout.
I loved Helms was trying to wave him off. You saw that left hand?
Oh, I did.
He did it twice. No.
That means that we will see a new arm on the hill for the Teurlings Rebels. It's going to be Brennan Storms, who will move from third to the Staff Sergeant Richard Poole pitcher's mound.
You know, we saw Storms in the state tournament last year. You know, he's pitched a couple innings this year, and you might be surprised to hear that Storms throws the ball hard.
Well, we talked about the arm that he exhibits at third base, and you just have to wonder if he's got the control for it to transfer from third to the pitcher's mound. And, the one thing we can say about Storms is that he's been on target from third all afternoon. Rebels have a precarious 7-5 lead with the go-ahead run approaching the plate for St. Louis here in the top of the 7th. And Brennan Storms coming in to pitch. So who goes to third for the Teurlings Rebels? So it is Maddox Domingue who will play third for the Rebels.
Kavan, while we have a brief lull, a sort of a see you later, not a goodbye, but a see you later to a coworker, my friend Marcel Fontenot.
I saw
leaving
that.
the TV station, and she is going over to UL, where she'll be the chief communications officer. And I wish Marce all the very best. I'll see you guys for the goodbye celebration or the see you later celebration in a little bit. But Marcy, top of the line, great person.
So nobody out here in the top of the 7th. Rebels with a 7-5 lead. They've been out-hit by St. Louis 9-8 through 6 official innings. With nobody out here, you don't have a third of the inning or anything of that nature. So Swallow at the plate for St. Louis. Storms comes home, and that's going to be ball 1. Scott, it only makes sense to attempt to bunt in this situation and just move everybody over. Give up the out and make it productive. There he shows the bunt. It's bounced right back to Storms. Storms throws to first, gets the out, and there's one away here in the top of the 7th. But the runners advance to second and third.
Runners advance, but you've got one.
Now batting number 6, Carter Orndorff.
It's the guy on second base and the guy at home plate that you're focusing on, I think.
So that brings Orndorff to the plate. Now, I have to ask, because it sounded like Tommy said Ornoff, not Orndorff. Have I been mispronouncing that all afternoon? Orndorff. Okay. Storms comes home and does not catch the outside black of the plate, make it 1-0.
You know, you want contact. You don't want any wild pitches. Work the strike zone. Don't try to do too much.
That offering does find the outside black. Make it 1-1.
Throw a couple more like those, Brennan.
Storms now taking a little bit more time with one away here in the top of the 7th. That one's going to be outside. Make it 2 balls, 1 strike. And Scott, I can't lie. With the defense that you have behind Storms, you almost have to wonder, do you try and load the bases and see if you can get the double play ball?
That's a good point. I was thinking that.
That's going to be in for a strike. Beautiful pitch. Makes it 2-2 with 1 away.
Upper part of the strike zone, and this one coming inside.
Make it happen pitch for Storms.
Oh, that's the same pitch.
I don't know where that missed. And I think everybody in the ballpark wanted that one. Even some people from St. Louis might have been breathing heavy not getting that call because they know it too.
Well, that was a strike just
yeah,
before.
it was absolutely a strike. And there should be a man in the dugout. Instead, it's 3-2, 1 out. Storms comes in, and that one's low and loads the bases. And Scott, that's the situation that I had when you get inconsistency from an umpire behind the plate. Look, I'm not asking you to get everything right. But I'm going to be honest, ball 4 was close enough for a makeup call and didn't give it to him.
Yeah.
And that could be a game decider now as St. Louis has the bases loaded with 1 out and Boudreaux at the plate. That should be a strike, and it is. No balls, 1 strike, 1 away.
You notice when we don't get the calls, then it suddenly should be a strike.
Umpire's been pretty consistent. We've seen some where we've said maybe, but to that point, he has been pretty consistent with both sides here this afternoon with what is a strike and what isn't. As a comment was made, definitely better than a couple of games ago or a game ago. Storms delivers this one. Boudreaux cannot find it, and it's 0-2. And now Shambo wants to have a conversation with Storms and a conversation with everybody.
I think Shambo's seeing something.
Yeah, he saw something. And, I mean, bases loaded, you really don't have to worry about a ton of things going on the base paths. And we are going to get a courtesy runner, it looks like, for St. Louis.
And my guess is Shambo didn't have some revelation about where we're going out tonight. It's
no.
Like, here's what I'm seeing.
Well, Scott, you almost have to wonder, whenever you've got a runner at second as a catcher, the one thing you're concerned about are signals. And your second baseman may have visibility and might be able to say, hey, let's have this conversation. Let's stop things for a second and let my pitcher and catcher know what's going on. So it's 0-2 to Boudreaux. 1 out, bases loaded. Rebels leading 7-5 here in the top of the 7th. Storms has transitioned from third base to the pitcher's mound for this top half of the inning. That's going to be fouled off and out of play, keeping it 0-2.
It's a tenuous 7-5 lead. Come on, Brendan.
Storms come set. Now they'll come home. That's going to be outside. Make it 1-2.
You could tell just on the delivery, trying to do a touch too much there.
And what you have to talk about is what Swallow was able to do by holding on to that baseball instead of letting it get past him. Because if it gets past him, it's a whole different ballgame. Swing and a miss, gets the strikeout. That's a Summit Financial strikeout to make it 2 away here in the top of the 7th. The Rebels need one more out to get their second win in as many days.
Anything on the ground, everybody's out.
Play for the Saints now, number 16.
Well, with the right throw to the right player at the right base.
So we have a pinch hitter, and it is Brennan Westfall. So Westfall will have his first appearance at the plate with the bases loaded, 2 away. St. Louis trailing by 2.
Now Westfall replacing Listy, who's 0 for 3.
Storms come home with a strike right down the middle, Scott. That's the way you want to open up an at-bat.
Yep.
Here comes the 0-1. Swung at and missed, make it 0-2. Rebel faithful now starting to come alive a little bit next to the third base dugout. Rebels need one more pitch to send this one to the books. 2 away, top of the 7th. Bases loaded. Rebels lead at 7-5 over St. Louis. No balls, 2 strikes, and that one's going to be outside. Give Westfall credit for laying off of that pitch.
Yeah, especially when you've seen 2 right down the middle and you're starting to get antsy.
Rebels have their call. Storms come set. Swing and a miss, another Summit Financial strikeout, and the Teurlings Rebels get the 7-5 win over St. Louis. Scott, this is a massive win for the Teurlings Rebels, given just kind of how the schedule has played out so far.
Yeah, very nicely done. And, the Rebels, a game a week and a half ago, they might not have won. But also overcoming adversity. I mean, the base running things will drive you crazy. And the Rebels just kept at it. And credit the guys who came, behind who started for us today? Who was our starting pitcher? Who started behind Boudreaux?
Behind Boudreaux, correct.
I mean, they all did really nice jobs. Boudreaux was not on his typical game, but the relievers guys, they came in there and they kind of kept things right there. Helms did a really nice job. Crater before that, and then Mr. Storms comes in and just does. I mean, Brendan Storms doesn't. He ceases to amaze me.
Really nice offensive output for the Rebels, and I think the big conversation about this is that virtually every time that St. Louis was able to scratch the board, the Rebels found an answer. Maybe not that inning, but the next. Yeah. The Rebels just kept coming offensively.
Well, right at the beginning. I mean, you dig a 3-0 hole, and then you come back with 4. And a credit to a good team beating a good team.
We will take a quick break right here from Teurlings Rebels Baseball. Come back, a quick post-game show. We'll tell you about the 5th game in the series we are going to cover here on the Teurlings Catholic Sports Network.
Walking in, seeing all the people at the Aspen Clinic makes it so much easier to just get started.
Coming here and having a real person makes the difference.
The accountability is a big thing because it gets you to your goals quicker.
The Aspen Clinic offers more than just GLP-1s.
Because you deserve more than just a prescription. They would never give me anything that would harm me, and they only want the best for me.
No contracts, no membership fees, just real in-person support.
Don't wait, call the Aspen Clinic today.
In the heart of Lafayette, something strong is growing. We believe in creating opportunity right here, so our young professionals don't have to leave Louisiana to build their future. At Beal & Aber, we're proud to stand up for the people of Acadiana. When you need strong legal representation, whether you're injured in a car wreck, have a construction dispute, you are dealing with a civil matter, or you just need help with estate planning, we're here when it matters most. Beal & Aber, Acadiana's hometown lawyers.
Teurlings Rebels win 7-5 over the St. Louis Saints. A huge win for the Teurlings Rebels baseball team. Rebels got out hit 9-8, but the one that really matters up there on that scoreboard are the runs. Rebels get 7, St. Louis 5 alongside Scott Brazda. I'm Kevon Bordelon. And this is part of a 5-game series brought to you by Beal and Abear, Acadiana's hometown attorney. Scott, we have one more game left in this. That'll be April 13th right here at Teurlings Rebels Stadium against Central High out of Baton Rouge.
You know, I think about that bottom of the 6th inning, come on. The way the Rebels did it was a little of everything. A couple walks. You have a single. Let's see, I'm retracing all this. Yeah, Swallow walks, Chavis walks, power singles, and the Rebels get 2 more.
The other 2 things that I think have to be discussed from this ball game is, first of all, the Rebels were able to capitalize on St. Louis mistakes. And really, in a game that's separated by 2 runs, when you get 2 wild pitches in the first inning that scores 2 runs, that's a huge benefit. But you've got to be able to capitalize on that if you're going to win baseball games in high school.
And you do enough of that to overcome your own mistakes. Just proud of the Rebels' resiliency. I mean, you're playing St. Louis, and you can easily just kind of go, oh, okay, well, we got North Vermilion tomorrow. Let's look at this one. But the Rebels just kept at it. And I really love, Brooks worked his bullpen, and he brought in guys that we don't see a lot of. And they all did really nice job. Cradur and Helms and then Storms. They all did a really good job of, keeping Boudreaux, who had started, keeping them in the game.
The other thing I think we have to talk about, if there's one thing that if I'm Coach Batto that we're going to talk about, it's how we handle ourselves on the base paths, because you could have potentially had this be a 9-5 ball game, the way this played out. But you had a runner thrown out at third on a pitch out from the catcher when the runner was already at third. It was just because he was taking too aggressive of a lead. And then the same thing, you got picked off at second.
When Vincent's picked off at second, yeah.
When you had a double with 1 out, the one thing you cannot do is have that lead base runner get thrown out on the paths.
Yeah, I'd love to find out the communication or lack thereof. Was it just caught in a bad spot, or was it just we just weren't on top of our game and concentrating the way we should have been?
Last question before we wrap up our post-game show, Scott. Do you almost get that gut feeling that this team might be starting to find its stride after the loss to St. Thomas More, come back? You get the big win against Rain yesterday. You get a win here today that, I'll be honest, coming in, I was like, I'm not sure how this is going to pan out.
Well, especially after Tommy Dean told me that St. Louis was like on a roll. Tommy and I talked briefly, yesterday. And they hit the ball really well against a good pitcher. I mean, Garcia's a really nice pitcher. And the way the Rebels just kind of did it, yeah, I'd love it. I mean, you start to get on a roll, and you've got, just a few weeks to go before the playoffs start. Sure.
Hey, for all of our fans out there, if you go to the Teurlings Catholic Football Radio Network Facebook page, we will have Ike Brunet's highlights from yesterday and today. Ike got them to me last night. It's been a hectic day, but we will get up highlights from yesterday and today when those get sent over. If you're watching on YouTube, do not miss our game right here, April 13th against Central. And then, of course, Scott, we will maybe start talking playoffs, see where that takes us, and what we can do with the Teurlings Catholic Sports Network.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Thanks so much for watching. We hope you have a fantastic weekend. Remember, don't do what's easy, do what's right. And we will see you in the future.